I'm gonna go live while you guys are doing that too. It took like legitimately like an hour and a half to make, 2 hours to make. It was easy. I can make you one, guys. Hey everyone watching live stream. There's just one live, by the way, so just so you guys know. They're all looking at my headboard in my room. I'll make you guys some if you want a nice headboard.
And you like write some Harry Potter spells
In the back of it. That's what I did.
in the back.
Whoa.
That's how you
Magic
know
in
all
that
them.
little
You're
charm.
quizzing yourself.
Yeah, in the back there's like a secret compartment I hide all my wands in. So in every rung there's a
Yes.
wand compartment. Hollow it out, pull it out.
That is your Etsy shop, man. There we go.
That would make a killing. Although my wands are in my nightstand on the other side. So
I don't know. Don't tell us, because they might come finding us. Can a wand transfer owners? Because they pick. But what if all of a sudden they like someone better?
yeah, what happens if that happens?
I don't know.
Why'd you ask that question? Did
Wait,
something
a
come
wand
in
can
the
change
chapter?
its mind?
Oh, no. This is just like a random thing. Am I onto something?
Oh, I don't know, but you know what?
Does a wand have a mind of
Yes.
its own?
Well, it does, because it chooses its owner.
So can it choose a different owner?
What would make it choose a different owner?
Power. Or
Power?
skill set. Or it's just a ranking. You know, like you were a good match, but this is a great match.
Wow. It's not you, it's me.
This is the dating app for wands.
Yeah.
I feel like if I was
Wizards
a
are
wand,
on-
I would want a kind person. If you're mean, I'm out.
Right, right. Wow.
You're
so
not
that
treating
means
me well.
wands have moods.
They have moods.
Well, yeah, and personalities and all that.
But it's
Well,
not
we're
like they
making it that
don't work when they're upset at you.
Well,
If I were a wand, I would do that. You pissed me off.
could you do something that would
working
make
for
your
you.
wand not work well?
Break it.
Could a wand
Ron
rebel
did
against
that.
you if you were doing something?
Well, they do these in those unforgivable spells, and their wands still do it, and they don't reject it. But
could-
they're evil
they?
wands.
But we
a
actually
wand
haven't seen anyone
Enjoy
other than
the
Moody
evil
do
side,
that.
too.
But
An unforgivable curse.
yeah, Well, we heard Malfoy. I mean, Lucius.
Only in the movie, though.
No, like in this book, to the guy that's in the hospital. He did the one that takes over.
The Imperious.
Yeah,
He did?
didn't he?
In the hospital?
No,
Walk me through this
before.
one.
I don't know anyone's names. This sucks.
I can't think of, I know what you're talking about. And I
Oh.
The
can't
one
think
with
of
the
who it is.
plant
Wait,
that
what?
got eaten by the plant. That guy
Oh, yes.
went
yes.
into
I thought you
the
meant
Oh,
Sturgis
yeah, yeah.
Podmore.
mystery. The
Bodie Broderick. Bode.
But he, are you thinking of the other guy, Sturgis Podmore, that went in?
maybe I thought it was
'Cause-
both of them were
Yeah,
under the
maybe.
Imperious.
we don't really
curse.
know what the deal was with Sturgis. We were just kind of speculating. But it did say that Bodie was under... Actually, maybe we were speculating that too. I don't know. I can't.
I thought it did say.
Can't I think it did, but how would it? How
Might
could we
have.
have known? Through Harry in his vision? No. Actually, maybe because Harry had that vision where I feel like Voldemort was in some dark spot and he was grilling
Yeah, he was grilling
some
the two
other
others.
guy who said something about where like he thought it was going to work but it didn't work, and
Yeah.
some other guy, I don't remember their names, but it was like two other like
They were
Death Eaters.
Avery and
But I knew I wrote it down. Bode was under the Imperious curse. Page 540.
hey.
Whoa.
Turn your books, please, to page 540.
Jen, you're missing it.
540.
Yeah.
Well, yours is going to be different. Sorry.
Oh. But it's a good start.
Oh, I wonder if it was during one of the dreams.
What is the context of turning to this
We're trying to find the Imperius, and
It says Bode could never have taken it, Master. Bode would have known he could not. Undoubtedly, that is why he fought so hard against Malfoy's Imperius Curse. But I think that was...
Boom.
Was that during one of the...
Told ya.
boom.
Wait, Jen, why do you say that? Do you do you think that a wand could change owners? Why are you saying that? First of all, is it just a theory that kind of popped up in your head right now?
Yep.
Did anything in the chapters lend an ear to that? And how would a wand change an owner if a wand could change an owner? And if there's anything in this book, do you think that any wand is going to change owners to someone else? That's a lot of questions.
Well, from the last book, I feel like Harry's wand beat Voldemort's wand. Whatever that really means. I'm not 100% sure. So I wonder if Voldemort... And because they're from the same Phoenix, maybe Harry can take Voldemort's, or maybe vice versa. Maybe
Take it.
Like, maybe it, like, wants to shift ownership to the other.
I like that idea.
And
I think we
maybe-
talked about it like in street racing or like Fast and the Furious. It's like racing for pinks.
Oh,
Whoever
yeah, you
wins
said
gets the
that.
car. But how would that work then? If Harry gets Voldemort's wand, does he just use Voldemort's wand? Does he dual wield? Does he hold them together? Maybe you can use magic to combine wands
Darth
together.
Vader or
They
whatever.
twist together and then it's
Star
like a little
Wars.
braid. Whoa. Double-sided?
Or what if something happens to, like, also what happens to the wands if their owner dies?
That's a
Like
great question.
Dumbledore. What if
Do we recycle wands?
he,
Does
Gives up
Ollivander refurbish them?
I don't know. Is there a thrift shop for them?
Maybe
Wand thrift store.
that could be built right into Ollivander's thing.
Yeah.
He senses
A
it.
use section.
Accio, boom, the wand comes right back to him.
And,
And
finds a
all
new
wands
owner.
are recycled. And it finds a new owner.
Do you feel like a wand would be more or less powerful if that happened? Like if the owner died and it was just like sitting there, would it be gaining power? Is it like a fine wine, or is it losing power because it doesn't have like a...
I feel like the more people who use something, the more powerful it gets.
So do you think that there maybe is like a few wands out there that have been passed down from generation to generation that are infinitely more powerful than like Harry's wand?
What?
I'm wondering now.
Mm.
But I don't know. Should I say it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well,
What are
what
you
if that's what the mysteries is? All the wands of...
The Department of Mysteries, they're
The
just
Department of
investigating all the wands.
No,
That's
like
part of
they
what do.
have all
They
awesome...
hold them.
Yeah. They retire the wands and they're kept in that room.
You
And
know, maybe wizards get
Voldemort.
buried with their wands. That would be noble. That would make a lot of sense. You know, hold your wand and go down with it. Wait, do you bury wizards? Or do you do a spell and they disappear with their wand into the ether?
What did they do with Cedric? We don't even know.
It's a great point.
Do we?
No, we don't know what happened with
There
Cedric's
was
body.
some kind of ceremony because didn't his parents not go?
So what?
Vaguely in my mind, I was thinking there was something with Cedric, some kind of memorial,
Well, they had a memorial service for him.
but it
at
was just a
school,
service.
But his parents
We don't know
went.
what happened to his body.
I'm sure he wasn't buried on school grounds.
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense anyway.
I think he wanted Harry to bring his body back to his parents, but I'm sure his parents are probably taking him to a place to bury him or do whatever wizards do. Maybe wizards do something else.
But if the wand disappears with the wizards when they die, then there wouldn't be that many wands around.
Why? I thought there's a shop.
No, I mean, yeah, but those
There's
seem to all be
multiple.
like created new, but maybe they're not. Maybe they are all recycled.
But then
But
I
I
guess
feel
that's
like
a lot
then
of
the-
animals dying. Well, I don't know, like the dragon
Yeah.
heartstring.
Well, maybe that's part of it too. You could recycle
And then
the core.
phoenix feathers. Like, how many are they gonna pull? How many?
So
phoenix?
true.
How many?
Wait, but
phoenix-
if Harry's wand is recycled, who used it before? What happened to his parents' wands?
I was just thinking, what?
Maybe that's what
his
Voldemort
dad?
is collecting wands too as he goes around killing people. Because I keep wanting to get like a tangible thing of like Voldemort is gaining power. So that would be a pretty tangible thing. Like you kill a wizard, you take his wand, and you can absorb the power of the wand.
Right, because like, what are you gonna do if Voldemort has like 10 or 20 wands? Like,
He's got
Make
a
a
whole arsenal.
what is he
Throne out
just
of
like hold it
wands.
like a thing and go
He's
like
got
this?
like one of those trench coats. He puts it out. It's just a bunch of wands. Here.
Wands.
Depending on what he wants to do, he whips out the
Yeah.
correct wand.
Hmm.
There could be
Oh,
wands
because
that are specialized. in
stronger
certain-
for certain
yeah.
things. Yeah.
That's so strange. I don't understand that.
Well, I
whole
feel like
concept.
the wands of great wizards would be more powerful. Like Dumbledore's wand, I feel like is more powerful because he's used it. Like there's like a bond there.
Oh, okay.
And I'm thinking of the wand as having some level of sentience where it's gaining power or knowledge from the person using it. So the more used a wand is, the more powerful it gets. So Dumbledore's must be really powerful. But then, yeah, like other people, like Nicholas Flamel, his wand, he's been using it for however long. What do we say, like 1,000 years or more?
Yeah.
So his wand must be super powerful.
What happened to it?
I don't know. I don't think he's dead yet. Because they saved up enough of the
Sword.
the
Elixir of
juice,
life, yeah.
the elixir to keep
That's another
going.
good bar name, the Elixir of Life.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
Or what if they
Can
found
we
a
just
wand
do
in the
that
pyramids,
instead of
though?
my job.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Any
there'll be a
donors
book
out
nook,
there?
you know?
We-
Yeah.
Any
Fund
angel
us.
investors?
come
It'll be the
visit.
coolest place in the
You
world.
can come whenever you want for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa, nice.
Any of our original fans, you guys can come anytime you want.
Wow.
No, I meant like if they don't donated money.
Oh, so free
misunderstand
is
me.
loosely
You're the
the
donate.
Well, on that note, welcome to the podcast.
Oh,
I'm
shoot.
John,
Jen.
Danny.
And Kristen.
and this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
No, anyone that watches our YouTube channel all the time
Hmm.
for the whole length of it, then you are rewarded
There are
with
many
Parameters
steps
here.
that you have to follow.
I love that you're looking at wand lore, though. There's not a ton that's clear in the books about wand lore, but one thing has always been clear for people who study wands is the fact in the beginning that the wand chooses the wizard, and there's a lot of mystery surrounding that. But that is
Yeah.
like that's like just the fact of wand lore. So maybe we'll break
Yeah.
into that more as we go on.
Like, what else can the wand choose?
Is there an
Can it change its
encyclopedia
mind?
coming out? The one that you
Oh, yeah.
that
Yeah.
has that info? Potentially,
Pretty
maybe.
excited for that.
Seems like there's a lot in there.
Yeah.
I love it. She's building the canon.
Yeah.
Everyone wants us. People are saying on our subreddit too. They want us to watch the other movies. So we're gonna watch the Fantastic Beasts movies. Go see the play. Do all that kind of stuff. So
Oh my gosh.
Sounds
the
great.
play billboard. There's a billboard with the
I
play
know.
that I pass on tweets. Yeah, all the
Yeah.
time. And I
Oh,
just
boy.
like
My brain glitched. I was like, why are you not finishing that?
that's what I looked like. It sounded like.
No, you were very cool. Our brains glitched.
Yeah, dude,
Why
that's
are
how
you
I felt. I'm
stopping?
like, words.
Finish it. Anyway, every time I'm like, I can't wait to see
I know.
that. It's gonna be out by the time we finish.
I was talking to someone.
know,
who-
It's not gonna be.
No, it's still gonna be there.
Oh,
That's
it's gonna
always
be there.
Yeah, I think that's like one of those that's gonna always be on. Broadway.
And then there's something in the city too. That's like a whole
Is it Harry the,
Potter
really?
store.
Yeah, the
or-
store, right?
Oh
there's-
yeah.
But it's like an experience. I thought it was an
I
experience.
think it's a Harry
too.
Potter experience.
There are like a few things that.
And then there's
that
an
different?
enchanted forest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you guys sent the
Oh,
Enchanted
that's
Forest thing.
There was one that they were doing in Philadelphia that was something like that, but
Isn't that
I
the
think they
experience?
moved that. That was the
Yeah.
experience. I think they moved
It
that.
moves around, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's there
I will
anymore.
be very upset if they like discontinue it.
Yeah, wherever it is in the country, we're gonna go see it.
Also, my family has a vacation. I'm not sure about the timing yet, but Richmond, Virginia, Quidditch World Cup this summer?
No way.
Guys, I mean,
Wait, is that where it is?
yeah.
We're going, guys. 100%. I'm sorry.
I mean, how great is that?
It's a real thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
Wait, are they on? They're like on little
It is
brooms
the World
running
Cup.
around.
Yes.
This is the official.
The
Quidditch
official World Cup,
No
yeah.
They
and it's
way.
here.
They
And
do
this
that
is the
every
one.
year?
No, it's not every year. I forget how often.
I knew it was. I
but
didn't know it was in Richmond.
this is the
Virginia.
one
I'm
I
going.
think that was COVID delayed or something.
Wait, we googled this. They're like running.
And so I saw, and I forget when it was, like
Are you guys
June
playing?
15th.
secret.
I was like, we gotta go. We gotta
Starting a team.
sponsor
That's all
a
of us,
booth there. We gotta get a table.
Spot. Oh, actually, he's got a good point.
Right?
I'm 100% in.
How
guys.
awesome would that be? Getting a booth?
I am in.
That would be cool.
What booths and what do we sell? We have to have our merch by then.
Yeah, we gotta have merch. Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, I wasn't
get
even
moving. When is
necessarily
it?
We gotta
thinking
get
about
on
it, but yeah,
Summer.
we gotta figure out some merch.
it is. Yeah, this summer.
Time is flying.
As always, people on the live stream too. Any questions that you guys have, throw it in the chat.
Oh, I thought
I'll
you were
ask them.
talking.
And let us know any good merch that we should do.
Socks.
Sorry, 100%. We gotta start planning some of these trips. There's gonna be like our post read for all this. We're gonna go check out all these great locations.
Well, we could have a map and have them ask, like, you should go here, you should go there, and all our listeners.
There's so many good locations, and we're coming up to so many good locations
Yeah.
too that we'll hit. So it's gonna be the best.
I just applied for a job this week, and the interview was okay. But if I got the job, I wanted to start in like a month and a half so that I would have a few weeks of free time. Then I was like, I got to go to Scotland. But no, I can't go without you guys. We got to start planning a trip.
Oh man,
I'm waiting for my passport. Couldn't think of the
Oh,
word.
yeah,
It's
nice.
not. Waiting for that to come in.
We're gonna hit that.
Wait, you
soon.
already
Watch
applied
play.
for it?
Oh yeah, I had to get ahead of the game.
Excellent.
It's gonna be so good, guys. I can't wait. Anyway, let's jump into these chapters.
Ah, yes.
Okay, we are in chapter 28, 29, and 30. But someone give me a quick summary of chapter 28, Snape's worst memory.
I'll do this one since I can't do the next two.
Oh no, I don't have one for the
All right,
next one.
we'll do it as a team. All the
Yeah,
other
whole
ones.
team.
Umbridge becomes the headmaster, right, to start the chapter. Fred and George start causing some trouble with fireworks, kind of as a protest to Umbridge taking charge. And Harry sees Snape's memory of getting bullied by James Potter. And because of that, Harry gets kicked out of his private lessons in occlumency.
Beautiful. We were touching on something that happened before. We were talking about how someone becomes headmaster. Do you think, because this is a line that we get, Umbridge tried to get back into the office last night after they searched the castle and the grounds for Dumbledore. She couldn't get past the gargoyle. The head's office has sealed itself against her. Ernie smirked. Apparently, she had a right little tantrum. Is she actually the headmaster?
No.
Or is this... So
No.
my question is, did Dumbledore or McGonagall seal the office against her? Or is this the castle's own doing? Does the castle kind of elect who is the next headmaster?
I feel like yes.
You think so? How do you think it's done?
We talked about last time, and there were
Yeah.
lots of options.
But now we have so much
Like,
more
just
information.
Just go watch the last one.
Because this kind of confirms that, though. This confirms that.
Right, but it could just be a spell
Right.
put on it.
It could be. Is that how you read it?
No. I read it as she wasn't allowed in because she's not official. This is just a substitute because Dumbledore's not there, and they're trying to take over Hogwarts, the Ministry of Magic. But it's
But they're also in charge of
the
Hogwarts.
cast.
Or are they? Well, they can make like educational decrees, but what does that mean? Ugh. Well,
I
you know,
felt like the room was protecting itself for Dumbledore. I
almost.
thought that was like specific to Dumbledore. That's how I interpreted it.
And that's what I'm wondering.
Because
Would the
he's the headmaster or just Dumbledore?
because they
well, I
like
guess
him?
because he's the headmaster.
So-
but
Yeah,
also
okay.
because he's awesome.
When what's his name? Phineas was being a little like slow in his action when Dumbledore was giving him a request. All the other portraits were yelling at him. So there's like a certain code of honor. Are they bound to that? Can they rebel against it? So would they listen to Umbridge? When I first read it, I viewed the gargoyle as being an actual thing, like an entity. And I almost viewed it like the gargoyle was being loyal to Dumbledore. Like that was Dumbledore's thing. Like the Griffin knocker might be Dumbledore's knocker. So Umbridge can't use that, like that kind of thing. But I
Needs
kind
a
of...
toad knocker.
You're right. I thought like if she gets in that office, then she'd be headmaster almost. Like the portraits would listen to her, but there might be other things that block
but, like,
her from
you
getting
think
there.
just by sitting in there or being
No, I don't think
like-
that's what
oh,
does
okay.
it. But I feel like, doesn't the ministry make that call? Or the governor's vote? Or is there some secret process? Like what
I
would
don't know.
signify? I feel like there needs to be a physical thing that signifies who the headmaster is. But what is it? Does Dumbledore wear a ring? Have some secret underwear that only the headmasters can
No,
wear?
maybe they get
Is it like a verbal thing?
A hat? A
not
necklace?
not knighted. What the heck is like
Yeah, knighted.
inducted or something?
Oh, like there's a bit of a ceremony to
yeah.
it? Yeah. But who does that?
Fudge.
Yeesh. That would
That's
be
bad
really
news
fun
for
to
us.
see a headmaster change. It's like the changing of the guards in DC or something like that. For the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Hmm.
Well, I was just thinking, because with the point system, isn't it just a verbal? We were kind of confirmed. Was that in these
Oh.
chapters?
Yeah.
Or was
Right,
that-
right.
I don't remember when that was.
Subtract
No, you're right.
points.
Yeah,
where they
'cause-
like watched it happen.
Yeah, and
Yep.
it was like nothing had to be done. It was just
Yeah.
the words were said. But I mean, I guess authority has to be given,
Oh, yeah,
right? Because like,
Malfoy-
Yeah.
yeah.
because it was only the what's this the squad or whatever.
Yeah, Umbridge's squad.
Yeah,
Inquisitor.
Is it
Yeah.
Inquisitorial. Yeah.
squad or whatever.
Good
don't know.
name for it.
Hmm.
So the castle kind of seems like it has a mind of its own for sure. But there's other things in the castle that they talk about in this chapter too. And one of those is, well, we were just talking about this. Malfoy just docked us about 50 points, said Harry furiously, as they watched several more stones fly upward from Gryffindor's hourglass. Yeah, Montague tried to do us during break, said George. What do you mean tried, said Ron quickly. He never managed to get all the words out, said Fred, due to the fact that we forced him headfirst into that vanishing cabinet on the first floor. So there's other things that are in the Hogwarts, like this vanishing cabinet. Where do you think Montague vanished to?
I don't know, but why couldn't they do that to Umbridge?
Right?
Right.
Whoa.
Pushing a teacher
full
down into this thing?
uprising?
Ugh. The whole school would be in on it. They just push her as one entity,
Oh my.
like a mob.
What do you
That'd
think?
have
Whoa,
been
mutiny.
great.
How do you think this thing works? This vanishing cabinet? Do you think it's like Monsters Inc? They open a door and it leads you to anywhere that you want to go.
Maybe you like are thinking something.
No, because I don't
while
think he would
you're-
put himself into a toilet. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
Fred and George would.
Yeah.
So is it the person that?
That's what I was wondering.
Oh.
Like, is it the person
Hmm.
that's putting something in their thought process, like the
Okay.
the room, the
Room of requirement.
yeah. Thanks. I cannot get names ever.
Teamwork.
It's whatever you're thinking you need. So it's like your thought process reveals the room. So maybe
Mhm.
the thoughts
Hmm.
reveal where
this
you
vanishing
vanished
cabinet?
to. But he was gone and then appeared.
Yeah.
So like where
Did he go somewhere else first?
he went
He had to
into
fight his way back.
But maybe he went through the sewer system.
That's what I was just thinking.
Oh my.
Through the toilet.
That is gross.
And if he ended up in one place, did he get there with a lot of other weird random things? Like he was just in a room with everything that's ever been put in the vanishing cabinet? Somewhere deep
Because I
underneath
guess normally
Hogwarts?
that's for objects, not people.
Like it's I don't even know. I thought it was much worse when they first said it. I was reading it and I'm like, oh my goodness. Like I'm like, wait, they wouldn't do that. Like they're not trying to kill the guy, but it did seem like a little harsh. So I'm glad he's not dead.
It's got to put you through the
Still.
ringer
But
because he's all
yeah.
disoriented,
Yeah.
Yep.
right?
It does
Yeah,
seem
he
pretty
doesn't know where he
intense. I almost viewed it like a trash disposal. Like you kind of, oh, cool. Where are we going to go with this? Vanishing cabinet, boom, and then it's gone. You don't have to worry about it. But when you put a person in there, I'm like,
Yeah, Filch is really using that to throw all the trash in.
yeah.
But when, yeah, a person, there's a
Yikes.
whole different ballgame right there.
But he doesn't think he's a teapot, does he? Like the other thing.
Maybe,
Other
maybe
guy?
he does.
Oh gosh.
The castle is just like these chapters specifically. I feel like the castle has a lot more life to it. Even I mean, we got to the wonderful chapters when Fred and George left, which you guys predicted really well about their they would leave the school. You're like, I don't think they would. They'd probably
Yeah,
leave
you're
the
right.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys
Say
nailed that. But now those are great. And then after that, the castle is like fighting back. Peeves is really fighting back.
Oh,
He
yeah.
suits of
Oh,
armor
yeah.
doing stuff. It's like,
I love how Peeves took the orders and like ran with it.
I know, such a good moment.
I love how everyone. Wait, is this in this chapter or the next chapter? When they revolt all the. Is this when Fred and George leave this
No.
chapter?
No, not this chapter.
Oh,
Yeah,
never
but in the
mind.
next
Yeah.
Yeah.
one, I think, or 2 chapters.
Yeah, this is like mainly the chapter about Snape. We'll get to, but
Yeah, they're all like one for me.
Yeah.
So
I know.
can't break them up sometimes.
Yeah,
I didn't even think Snape's memory was that bad.
Yeah, I want to ask.
For
That's
to
one of my
be-
questions that we'll ask in a bit. Why was
Oh,
this his
sorry.
worst memory? Because that's a really fast. Excuse me, my burp. There you go. Always one on the podcast. It's just interesting why he chose or why he believes this is his worst memory, and if there's anything in that. So we'll get there toward the end of this chapter, but a few more questions before that.
Sorry, I jumped ahead.
That's great. You guys are reading my mind already. There's two other lines. First of all, the new point system is very corrupt. That Draco Malfoy can
Yeah, that's not
subtract
right.
points from
Yeah.
students. But this is two other lines. The upshot of all of it was that Professor Umbridge spent her first afternoon as headmistress running all over school answering the summons of other teachers, none of whom seemed to be able to rid themselves of the fireworks without her. When the final bell rang and they were headed back to Gryffindor Tower with their bags, Harry saw with immense satisfaction a disheveled and soot-blackened Umbridge tottering sweaty-faced from Professor Flitwick's classroom. And then a few paragraphs later, it has this mention when he is in the whole occlumency lesson. It says, he was in a dimly lit room, as high and wide as a church, full of nothing but rows and rows of towering shelves, each laden with small, dusty, spun glass spheres. Now Harry's heart was beating fast with excitement. He knew where to go. He ran forward, but his footsteps made no noise in the enormous deserted room. There was something in this room he wanted very, very much. What is Harry looking at here?
Man, I have no idea. Because it's a lot of repeated things, like all the same type of thing. A lot of spheres. The room is so gigantic. I feel like you can't even see the end of it. I don't know. At first, I thought it was the Department of Mysteries, but then maybe because of the size of it, it felt like it maybe was somewhere else. But that doesn't mean anything. Size is crazy. In the wizarding world, it doesn't mean too much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Size doesn't matter in the wizarding world.
Size doesn't matter. Yo.
I tried.
Oh my god. Classic.
Sorry, keep going.
Good thing Jen wasn't here for that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I thought of them as being souls. Whether that's like actual souls, like you could maybe bring someone back or like talk to them or like tap into it, or memories. I was picturing it almost like these orbs were like a pensieve, but different, or like locked somehow, like you couldn't get in. But then we were talking about wands, and I thought maybe it's like something like that. Maybe this is like a burial thing. Maybe you can't interact or anything, but it's just like the essence of a person. But then why would you keep them?
Yeah. Why is there
So,
a room full of these?
Yeah, a room full. Like somebody wants these all stored. So if it was memories, that would make sense. You just want to collect all the memories from a wizard. Because at some point I was thinking about, we had discussed like, could you pull the memories out before somebody dies, try and save like the bits of a person to pass on, and then can all these memories in this room be put together and accessed somehow? Maybe
Or
that's
even-
how that would work. But
That's like a massive invasion of privacy too, if you even go to that level, because the Ministry of Magic, even if they're not pulled out, what if these are like each individual person's memories? So when they die, or even when they're initially born, it's like Inside Out. That whole
all
those orbs, but it's like one little ball represents all the person's memories. So maybe Voldemort is looking after for one of these, which is Harry's, or maybe the dad's or the mom's or whoever's it might be, to try to gather some kind of memory so that he can maybe. Is that what the weapon is? Do you think the weapon is something like that or something more serious? Is this where
honestly a little bit? Like initially all my thoughts about the weapon were based around the Ministry of Magic and taking like a small thing we've already seen but to the next level. But I hadn't really thought about the memory side of things. But I don't remember if I said it out loud or I was just thinking it at some point. I was thinking of I think it's the first Batman movie with Christian Bale, actually it was the third, Dark Knight Rises, where Morgan Freeman's character gets access to this giant database of like every electronic device basically, and then they can use that to see everything happening in the whole city, basically. And I feel like in a weird way, that's what these memories would be. It would allow you to see everything in history. You'd be able to look back and see like all the specifics of someone's life. So that would be, in a weird way, the most powerful tool. You could never have a secret in your life unless you destroyed the memory before you died or before it got collected. So I don't know. And can the memories be destroyed? Or if you find a body that has already passed, could you?
Sorry.
We're just burping.
Ah,
over here.
yeah, classic. That's very us. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. If it was memories and this was the weapon, whose memories would Voldemort be looking for? Something with ancient magic, maybe? Trying to get, I don't know, get a secret. Like, this isn't the final weapon. This is just a path to the weapon.
Yeah.
Somebody who died a long time ago had a secret hidden chamber somewhere, or I don't know. They invented something that Voldemort can use to unlock something else. So I just can't tell if this is the weapon or a path to the weapon.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ongoing question of this book. I mean, other books ask different questions, but this one is like, what is the weapon? You don't really ever know what the weapon is. And you assume that wherever Harry's dreams are leading him to, that is where the weapon is. But then this is the first time we get this description of this room as wide as a church, full of nothing but rows and rows of towering shelves laden with small, dusty, spun glass spheres. So you're like, what the heck is this? Like, what is actually going on here? What is he looking at? But he keeps having this dream recurring, so this is going to be a recurring question that we have.
Yeah.
Jen, do you have any ideas, any theories on what these little dusty glass spun spheres are?
I need a little more context.
So when Harry he has a dream right before his occlumency lesson, and he's like it says he's in the room, dimly lit room as high and wide as a church, full of nothing but rows and rows of towering shelves, each laden with a small dusty glass sphere. Harry's heart was beating fast with excitement. He knew where to go. He ran forward, but his footsteps made no noise in the enormous deserted room. There was something in this room he wanted very, very much.
So that's the room of mysteries, probably.
Yeah.
Right. What's in them?
Yeah. What
What would be
these
powerful enough?
spheres?
Well, we were just talking about wands before. Like, could it be wands in the sphere that they just keep there? Could it be memories of certain spells?
Yeah.
Well, like ancient magic is something that Voldemort. Did you just say that before?
I mentioned ancient magic.
Yeah. Because he wasn't as familiar, it seemed like. He's like, I
Yeah.
forgot Dumbledore's ancient magic. So maybe there's a lot of that spells in. Or are they memories of. Or maybe they're memories of these wizards that came up with spells. Like, who comes up with spells anyway?
Yeah. Right.
How do you create them? Like, oh, let me just adjust it, and now it does this.
That's interesting. Yeah.
If it was wands, that would make some sense. Because the way Voldemort talks about it, or we're assuming Voldemort, I think, from the way Harry feels in his dream, he's looking for one thing in this room.
Yeah.
Very specific. So if it was
Right.
wands, he'd be looking for
One.
a wand.
Or it could be a memory of one wizard
Hmm.
that is this one spell that I need to get.
Wow.
One spell.
I have so many questions on both of those.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So like a wand like stuck like almost like a wand stuck in amber or something like that. If there's a wand here, what is this one wand that he's after? And then what would the one memory be that he's looking for?
Yeah, what would the memory be? Because I'm thinking if it's a wand, it would have to be just like a super wand. Or if Voldemort thinks he's going to have to fight Dumbledore or whoever he views as being the most powerful wizard, maybe there's a sibling wand to that person's wand.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, Priori Incantatem, I'm going to use that against Dumbledore. Let me find his sibling wand so that he could be ready for the fight. Or if wands do get recycled, maybe there's something else like, oh, Harry's wand used to belong to this other guy.
Yeah.
And that wand was defeated by this other wizard years and years ago and whatever. If I can get to that one, I'll be able to defeat Harry and do you kind of playing like this chess game of wands. I was picturing the orbs as being smaller, but they actually could be big enough to literally hold a wand inside of them. But why? Why inside an orb?
Maybe that's where wands go when you die.
Maybe it's wands and memories.
Famous one.
That's
Where does the wand go when it dies?
Their
It's a tough
coffin.
question.
All wands go to heaven.
All wands go to heaven. All right, well, we'll come back to that, but we have another moment here. So he's on his way down to his occlumency lesson, and he sees Cho. And Cho is making an excuse for Marietta, and she goes, "She is a lovely person, really," said Cho. "She just made a mistake." Harry looked at her incredulously. "A lovely person who made a mistake? She sold us all out, including you." "Well, we all got away, didn't we?" said Cho pleadingly. "You know, her mom works for the ministry, and it's really difficult for her. Ron's dad works for the ministry, too," Harry said furiously. "And in case you hadn't noticed, he hasn't got sneak written across his face." "That was a really horrible trick of Hermione Granger's," Cho said fiercely. "She should have told us she jinxed that list." "I think it was a brilliant idea," said Harry coldly. Cho flushed and her eyes grew brighter. "Oh, yes, I forgot. Of course, it was darling Hermione's idea."
Here we go.
"Don't
again.
start crying again," said Harry warningly.
That was great.
"I wasn't going to," she shouted. "Yeah, well, good," he said. "I've got enough to cope with at the moment." "Go and cope with it then," said Cho furiously, turning on her heel and stalking off.
Oh boy, they need to just call it quits.
Okay, who's right in this debate?
Harry.
I think they're both right.
Of course.
And they're both wrong. Because they both escalated things so fast by rather than making it about what their real discussion is, they just start jabbing immediately. I'm like, oh, goodness.
What was the real discussion?
Well, I think the real discussion is just who was wrong, you know? Whether you should forgive Marietta for the tough spot she's in, or whether it was wrong or right of Hermione to jinx everyone without telling them. Like, all of those things are very fair discussions and kind of gray areas that these teenagers are completely unqualified to like deal with, but they're just forced into these situations. Really tough. I completely understand both sides of that, but they both started jabbing way outside of that discussion and then just start like insulting each other and crying. And this, I'm like, oh, guys.
Well, like if you think about it, if it was flipped, if Harry was in Cho's position and he's defending Ron, he would defend Ron. Like if he messed up,
Sure.
you know? So it's like, I agree. It's like, I wrote something, it's like, it's hard fighting against the circumstances rather than blaming a person.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like they're looking to place blame. And so,
Yeah.
and you know, they're just going at
That's
it. But like
actually
you said,
wait, an interesting question. Do you think if Ron gave up the information and sneak across his face, do you think Harry would defend him?
I don't know. I got rid of Dumbledore, so maybe. So.
I don't know. I feel like Ron would defend Harry.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like he
yes,
would.
you're right.
That's an easy answer.
Yeah, honestly.
Ooh.
That's saying Ron is a little more loyal than
Yeah.
Yeah,
than
you're
Harry.
right.
I don't know. I guess maybe it depends on the circumstances. If Harry's going to be put in jeopardy, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. Harry's sense of justice is pretty
According
intense.
to his own
Yeah.
how he feels at the time. Maybe.
But like Dumbledore was left Hogwarts because this girl
Yep.
said something to Umbridge. I thought all students don't like Umbridge.
I
Like
know.
that's what I was so confused. Why would you go? So I'm kind of with Harry on this.
Yeah,
but-
that is a little wild.
Yeah.
And I think it was fine that she jinxed it because you need to know who the mole is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So just because you're not aware of it, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
Guess. I think I agree with you.
oh gosh.
It should have been in the fine
it's-
print. There should have
I-
been a
Yes.
document you could have read through.
I'm like on your side right
The
now.
fine print?
I felt bad for Marietta because it's like if you're put in that position,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Is she
It's
gonna-
gotta
is she
be
gonna have
difficult.
Sneak written across her forehead.
But
for
the thing
rest of her
is,
life?
Cho forced her to these meetings.
Yeah.
So
It's
it is
Cho's
Cho's
fault.
fault.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's why
I kinda
put that
blame
in
Cho.
Marietta.
Like she
But
didn't really want to do
Marietta
this at all.
didn't need to go.
I
She
know.
could have just
Yep.
went once and like, nah, I can't do this. My mom's in the ministry. Thanks
Yeah.
though.
I don't think Cho understood the gravity of what they were doing here.
She just wanted to see her crush.
Yeah.
But Marietta didn't have to go and follow her. So
Right.
She was being a good friend.
But she only had to go
I mean,
once so
fair,
that way
nice.
Cho feels comfortable.
I told you.
I like this.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I think I'm still a little bit annoyed at Hermione for not disclosing the jinx because it feels like kind of entrapment, you know, like setting people up to fail rather than encouraging them to succeed.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, if she says, look, we expect loyalty, we want to trust you all, I put a jinx on it, I'm not going to tell you what it is. Maybe she should, but either way, just saying there's a jinx, we'll know if you say something.
But then no one's gonna sign it. I felt
But
like.
that would then that's perfect. You're weeding the people out right from the start. They don't sign it. They're not in, and now the order is only people who are willing
but
to
then
like.
they're not
commit.
in, and they know about this group,
Then
and
you
now
wipe
they
their
can
memories.
go. To,
Are you gonna tell them?
Yeah, and you don't tell them.
Come full circle. Just let Hermione do her
But
thing.
see, that's the thing. Like, I feel like that would have been a good start. Like, you ask people if they want to join one-on-one and present them with that, and then they're only approaching certain people. Honestly, I think Zachary and Marietta both probably wouldn't make the cut
Yeah.
because they weren't that psyched on it. And that's fine. They know about it. Okay, it is what it is.
but I don't like that already. Is your mole? They know about it.
Yeah, but they don't know where they're meeting or anything yet. You know, like all the specifics. Then they could. I feel like it's just a better way to approach it. I'm not sure if it makes sense. Like I understand why Hermione did what she
I
did,
like being sneaky.
but I feel like there'd be a better way.
You ask for forgiveness instead of permission.
Fair, I guess.
Intense. Will Marietta have these scars forever? That's the real question.
Like yeah, like
I
they
didn't
can
think it was
fix
gonna
a
be
little
that
bit,
I
bad,
didn't
but-
think it
though.
was forever. Did it say forever?
No, but they haven't gotten rid of them yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Her jinx is intense.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
like Fred
yeah.
and George's magic is intense. They can't get rid of that, even though any teacher could probably get rid of it easily.
Oh yeah.
But I wonder
Yeah.
if the same is true for this. Maybe like McGonagall really could, or maybe Madame Pomfrey could get rid of this really quick. But she knows.
She knows.
She put other students in danger, so she's like,
I'm
"You know what?
having
You're
so
gonna
much
deal with
trouble
this for a few
this.
more months."
Wow.
Yeah, so who's really bad?
Even the teachers know.
Right.
Hmm.
The teachers are worse
But
than Hermione.
also, Umbridge has no power. Like, what does she do? I feel like she has no magical powers at all.
Yeah, right. We haven't really seen her do any bit of magic at all,
Yeah, you're right.
and she can't put out some of these fireworks. She can't like do some things that seem like they're pretty basic things. to do.
Yeah, she might have been good back in her day, but it feels like she's a little out of
just
touch these
admin,
days.
right?
Or
Yeah.
maybe it's like, are you smarter than a fifth grader? You know, like it's hard to answer some of those questions that are simple questions that you learn in school, but then once you're out, you kind of forget. So maybe the stuff Fred and George are doing, these fireworks, they're not that complicated, but you forget how to do the simple things because Umbridge is just used to dealing with more intense magic.
Oh my god, you're like sticking up for her.
Yeah, anti-Umbridge.
Didn't someone? say
No,
that to you?
I think I still feel like I have a certain fear of her. Like I don't want to dismiss and think of her as not knowing magic because I feel like we could see her flex her magic abilities
What
in the
she did
future.
with the detentions, right?
You're right. Yeah, that was a little bit of it. Yep.
But like, I feel
Um,
like she only knows like evil magic,
And the simple, playful fireworks stuff is
washed out of her
eluding
brain.
her.
There's a lot of interesting moral questions, moral conundrums that come up in these chapters. The next one is, should Harry have even looked into Snape's memories at all? Was that far too invasive?
Like, yes and no. I don't think I would have done it because I just can't break that rule. He wants it in there for a reason.
Yeah.
But I could see why some guys would want to look into it.
Harry cannot help it
Guys,
sometimes.
what does that mean?
I'm implying that you two would definitely look into it, and Chris and I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, you know what? I would have wanted to look in it, And I might have. The reason I was yelling at Harry when he walks over there is he doesn't know how to get out of the memories.
Yeah.
Dumbledore pulled him out of the last memory.
I thought the same.
So I'm
thing.
like, you literally could be trapped in there. You have no idea what you're doing. So
Trapped in Snape's.
yeah, like what if no one ever pulled him out the first time? How would he have gotten out of it that
But
time?
how did Snape know he was in there? Like, is your body?
Well, I'm
like,
imagining
standing
he's
out, just
literally
your
standing there with
is
his
in
head
there?
Like
in
drowning
the-
yourself in this little tub, pretty much.
So he just walks in and Harry's got
Bobbing
his
for
head sitting in
apples.
the-
Yeah, it's
Yep.
kind of what it is. I
Wow.
feel like it is.
That yikes. It seemed foolish because he didn't know how to like make it quick either. Like, can you just like skim a memory, or you have to like go through it from start to finish? I don't know. But Harry was in over his head.
Harry's dad is a jerk too.
Ooh, yeah, we're gonna get there.
Also, though, I agree with you, and I was mad at James, but I kept thinking back to, are the memories warped when they're from one person's perspective? Like, over the years, has Snape been replaying these memories, slowly warping them over time to make things worse and worse? And
I'm sure
idealizing
the
things
major
he
things
wants
happen,
to
though.
and whatever.
So-
yeah, the major theme, I'm sure, but I just don't know.
Well,
I
like-
do think that she answered that question later in these.
Oh, yeah?
chapters when
Nice.
When Harry had the meeting with Sirius and Lupin, they were both in there.
Yeah.
And they kind of confirmed.
They
everything,
acknowledged,
memory
yeah,
was
they're
the
like,
truth.
yeah, that's not
Your
ideal.
dad was.
He was a
kind
bully.
He had a big head,
Oof.
and the only
Yeah.
and Lily only like fell in love with him their 7th year when he had a
Mhm.
deflated ego.
What deflated his ego?
I know, yeah. I hate that Harry went into the memories. I don't know. I don't think I could do that either. I mean, putting myself in Harry's perspective there is tough because of your absolute hatred towards Snape. But I don't know if I could go into those memories. It's like almost too personal. I don't like the idea of prying. I don't like the idea of someone not willingly giving you that information, and they don't want you to have this, and then you just butting in and taking that.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that.
It feels very much
But I
over
did
the
think
line.
that maybe.
She did think that maybe.
Sorry, that he thought he was gonna find some information if Snape is on like
Yeah.
Voldemort's
Yeah.
side or
Yeah.
not. So I was like, all right, I could see that you're like really wanting to get information, not like peek into his personal like memory bank.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was more of like an interaction with Voldemort or what he did that Dumbledore then trusts him even though he was a Death Eater.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was more something like that where I
Yeah.
could see like, yeah, I need to get this information because no one's telling me.
Yeah, this line right here kind of. I was just reading back to see why. It says, could it possibly be information about the Department of Mysteries that Snape was determined to keep from him? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
kind of makes sense of his motivation.
I'm also wondering how many memories are in there. Like, it seems like he was pulling a few memories out. So, if Harry stayed in there for longer, would he have seen more memories on this little slideshow? Or was that really the only one? We know that it's the worst memory based on the chapter title. But I'm like, I feel like there was just more too. Because I still don't fully get why this was the worst. It's bad.
Yeah.
But not that bad.
Where does it say is the worst memory though?
Just
It's
the chapter title.
Yeah. So I know that's the thing. Snape doesn't describe that as his worst memory, but I'm sure because it's the chapter title, it is his. But someone even said, so Zaz on chat says something interesting, that it's unfair that Snape gets to put his worst memory into the pensive, but Harry doesn't get to hide the memories that he doesn't want Snape to see.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually a really valid point.
That's why I was looking, because I'm like, was there almost a little bit of vindictive, like,
Yeah.
well, he's getting to see all of my memories.
Yep.
So, like, I
Yeah.
have a right to see some of his. I
Snape
don't know.
is prying into deeply personal stuff.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
didn't Harry practice?
I know.
Like, Dumbledore literally is like, work hard at this. Sirius says,
everyone.
work hard at this. And they understand something's at stake here. Hermione keeps pestering about it. I'm like, dude, you have one job right now
Yeah.
for the Order, for the future of all wizard kind, maybe. We
But
don't
it
really
seems
know
like
why,
he
but
wants it to happen.
I know.
yes,
right?
he literally is
because-
like, I want to
yeah.
see what's behind this door. And
Yeah.
we still don't understand why he shouldn't know. We don't even really know. Well, I feel like maybe Dumbledore actually did say that. The dreams should go away. Like, if he becomes better at occlumency, he will stop having the dream. It was maybe implied. I don't know if it was said outright. But he wants to know what happens.
Because he thinks he's doing a good thing if he knows information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's doing what he wants to do, not what he's being told to do. And that's always the case for Harry. But that's why I think they should have given him more information. Because with a little bit more information, Dumbledore or Sirius could have given him and explained to him why. They might have convinced him. Because that's the thing with Harry. He's not just going to listen if you tell him to do something. But if you explain why, he can be reasoned with. And then you have to convince him why it's the best thing for him to do. But they didn't. They're just like, do this.
But don't they
That
know
never
that
works
by
for
now
him.
too?
Yeah, I would think. Or maybe they're playing real 3D chess and this was part of their plan all along. Tell him to listen and do it, but then knowing he wouldn't really, and that's okay. But
I don't know how you practice that either.
hmm.
Just don't think about anything.
Yeah.
I
But,
keep
I mean-
thinking
Clear
about
your
that.
mind.
I'm like, how do you clear your mind?
You've been meditating now, trying to clear your mind?
Yeah.
Because I thought about it once this week. I was like, how do you clear your mind?
But I'll stop and close my eyes, but my mind goes. You can't just stop it.
Yeah. I feel like you can.
I think
With a lot of
men
practice.
can.
You
I think men can. I don't think
This is what
women
This is
can.
what like meditation is supposed to do. It's supposed to like maybe not stop the thoughts going on in your mind, but at least calm yourself, where you can like control the stream of consciousness or something like that.
I was gonna say I feel like I can like gain a sense of focus
Yeah.
on it. I
I
can't
feel like
clear
that's
it.
kind of what it is.
Okay.
I feel like
Focus
part of
on
it is
what,
clearing your
though?
mind. Huh?
Focus. Not on like a bajillion different things.
Yeah.
Focus on one thing.
Yeah. It's hard to do that.
I mean,
just,
any
like,
like kung fu movie is always about that.
So
You have
true.
to like sit and clear their mind.
Find your
Are they
center.
Yeah.
women or men? I
This-
know. I'm just saying. I think our brains obviously are different.
Hmm.
So do you think that men would be better Occlumens and women would be better Legilimens? So like Occlumens like blocking off someone,
maybe.
invading your mind, and women would be better at reading people's mind?
I would
Probably.
say yeah. Because
Hmm.
yeah.
Women's intuition all started from this.
I was just
We
like,
do-
you think about so many things at once.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Didn't you see Shotgun
I was
Wedding?
gonna say I just watched it again.
See what?
Shotgun Wedding.
You love that one.
There's like two
Jennifer
lines in
Coolidge.
it. It's just so with Jennifer Coolidge, yeah.
We do have this line that I wanted to bring up for both of you guys. We have someone shouting, "Leave him alone." James and Sirius looked around. James's free hand immediately jumped to his hair. It was one of those girls from the lake's edge. She had thick, dark red hair that fell to her shoulders, and startlingly green, almond-shaped eyes. Harry's eyes. Harry's mother. Our whole eye discussion.
Wow. Almond
It
shaped
was
and the
almond
right
shaped.
color.
I
Wow.
know. But what do you think
2
about
by
Harry's
4 by
mom
3.
here?
2 by 4 by 3.
Babe City.
Babe City. Hot Tamale Award?
Hot tamale. She's turning heads all over the place.
Because of red hair and almond-shaped green eyes.
I mean, I guess, but it's not so much about that. It's just more the way she's described and the fact that she has
Isn't
James'
that a
attention.
physical characteristic?
And well, all we got was the coloring. I'm like, you could have those features and still be ugly, but we're assuming she has those features and she's very attractive.
Oh, you're assuming out of
Well, just
nothing.
because it seems to me like James could get any girl he wants. Oh, maybe that's why he's so attracted to her though, because he can't get her.
Probably.
He loves the chase.
Yeah, for real. It is about that chase.
Yeah, for him, because he seems like he probably gets attention from a lot
Because
of
he's
people.
a seeker. He wants to chase things. He wants
Wow.
to chase a snitch.
Wow. So
Actually, he's
true.
not. I don't think he's a seeker, actually. I think he's a chaser. I think that was confirmed.
Oh,
later. I think there's-
yeah,
it's
you're
heavily
right, you're right.
contested whether he's a seeker or a
But he's
chaser.
like playing with the snitch. That's
Yeah.
so weird that he wouldn't
yeah.
be
That
a
is
seeker.
weird.
That's true, actually.
Maybe he's got
I think some people think
aspirations.
he was a seeker because of that, but I think she confirmed later that he was a chaser. So maybe he was just a chaser that, like, I feel like Oliver would maybe he's not like big headed. He wouldn't walk around with a thing, but he would walk around like, with a quaffle, throwing a quaffle
Yep.
in the air, being a little
But
crazy
isn't
about
he
it.
a chaser?
He's a keeper.
Oh, I don't.
He's the
I
goalie.
skimmed through those chapters. But whatever. I don't think it makes.
Yeah,
Well,
it
it's
doesn't
kind of
make a
like
lot of sense.
it's just like a thing to do and whatever. Wait, did he steal the snitch from like the locker room or something?
Thing to do.
Like, yeah, it's like anyone could walk around with a tennis ball, like bouncing it on the ground, throwing it against the wall. It doesn't mean you're a tennis star. So like, even if his role was something else on the team, he just has a snitch because it's cool.
He messes his hair up so it looks like he
So
just
it,
got off.
so he just, so he's not trying too hard.
Yeah.
It's so
Wind
funny.
blown look. I did not picture Lily with dark red hair.
Yeah, me neither. I
And do
thought
we
she
know
had
the last
brown
name
hair.
Evans?
And she's Muggle born.
She's Muggle born.
I knew it.
Yeah. So you're getting more information about that.
Mm-hmm.
So, she's Muggle born. Petunia, do you think that she's?
And she went to Hogwarts.
Confirmed.
I know. There you go. So all Danny's theories are
Yep.
thrown out the door.
Great. I guess back to the straight read again. But I do think there's more to Petunia. Actually, I don't know. But I like the idea that there's more to Petunia. Or more with the family, but I don't know why.
What about their parents, though? They wouldn't be that old. I mean,
Like, could she be Muggle born if one of her parents was wizard? Or no, because she's Muggle born, meaning
she's
born
like
to
Hermione,
two Muggles.
Yeah.
right?
She's like Hermione. Yeah.
So it feels a little weird
Or maybe.
for Petunia to also be a wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that feels a little bit unlikely. Two Muggle parents.
Well, that's why she's
two
kinda
wizard
grossed
kids.
out by magic, I feel like.
I thought she was so grossed out by magic
squid.
that it came from like a weird bitterness of not understanding her own
Mm.
magical self.
We did talk about that.
Yeah,
remember,
but it also could be she just hates her sister.
Yeah.
But why?
Extreme jealousy.
Yeah.
Wasn't the wizard.
So far though, we see Lily as being a very nice person.
Yeah.
She's kind.
stands up for people.
Yep. Even though she like was holding back laughter a little bit, I think that's like a little bit strange, but I liked it. There was that one moment where it seemed like she was like almost gonna laugh, but she was still doing the right thing. She's like almost fighting her own instinct to do
Yeah.
what's right, which I like. So what happened between her and Petunia to make all this craziness? Is it just that she's a wizard, or was there an event? I feel like there must be a thing, a moment.
Maybe her parents liked Lily better than Petunia because she had all this magical power and they were introduced to this whole new world. They got sucked into it.
Someone
Could
did
be.
bring up a good point too, that Colin and Dennis Creevy are born to two Muggle parents. They're Muggle born.
Oh.
So it could happen. Maybe that's like a little flash about Petunia maybe being it and then suppressing her. So Danny, your theory is still
Alive and well.
It's, it's hanging by a thread right now.
Or she
Excellent.
failed out, got kicked out, wanted to leave.
Oh, you think Petunia would have gone to Hogwarts? Or maybe they're both wizards, but only Lily got accepted to Hogwarts,
Mm.
and Petunia had to go to the public school.
Ooh,
What?
Public wizarding school. Rough.
That's not a thing.
No.
Not that I know of.
Oh. I was like, wait.
But it could exist. No, I'm just trying to think of why. Maybe they both got accepted, or maybe Petunia is a little bit wizardy, but not that much. So she didn't get accepted. She never honed her powers, and that's it. Not a squib. More like Hagrid. You know, like
Yeah, that's what I
knows a little bit. Could maybe, if it was nurtured right, turn into a good wizard, but it never was.
What do you think of the rest of the Marauders?
Interesting, because my view of James and Sirius shifted quite a bit
Really?
in their bullyingness.
Yeah.
But
Think that they're
Lupin,
both jerks
Yeah.
yeah.
still? I mean, one of them.
Well, Sirius didn't really have much maturing inside of Azkaban. So.
True. Because it happened when they were pretty young. Everything, like, they got married really young.
Mm-hmm.
And then Voldemort's rise to power and Harry and all of that, them being killed, Sirius going to Azkaban. They were like 21, right? Or like early 20s.
Yeah.
We did the math at some point.
You did the math.
So how much can someone change from 16 to 21? Honestly, an awful lot. Those are formative years.
Yeah.
Well, if you're interacting with people, yeah.
Right, but then from 21 to however old they are now, Sirius did not develop that much in Azkaban, right? We were
Oh, I see
speculating.
what you're saying.
But like even from we see them as jerks now, but by year 7, Lily no longer sees James as a jerk. So did he go through something that changed him and grew him and matured him? I hope so. That'd be nice. Something we can like root for. But what happened in those 2 years?
Yeah, that's the question. I feel like that comes up because he's an absolute jerk in this chapter. Like you have this perception of him. You're like, oh, James, everything that Snape says about James is wrong. And then
Yep.
all of a sudden you see this memory and you're like, oh, crap, James really is an absolute jerk.
Mm-hmm.
So you're thinking, did something happen in the next 2 years that made him a little bit more bearable? He has good things like him wanting to become an animagus to be with his friend. Like, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But he's only nice and kind to his friends, not like he detests Snape for almost no reason. Because
Right.
He said,
Just because
just
he
because
exists.
he exists, which is
I
pretty
know, that was
reprehensible. Yeah.
Mm.
So he's a hard character to like here. And then even Lily is like this beacon, this person that you kind of fall in love with in this chapter. And she says, "You think you're funny," she said coldly, "but you're just an arrogant, bullying toe rag, Potter. Leave him alone." "If you go out with me, Evan," said James quickly. "Go on. Go out with me, and I'll never lay a wand on old Snively again."
How would you think that would work?
Maybe for some girls.
I'm a jerk, but go out with me and I'll change. Winner.
It's the winning formula right there.
Yeah.
Just promise never to do it again. I'll go with you.
Ooh.
Go with you.
Making a movie reference or something?
No.
Can I move
I'm
the
just trying to be funny and
Oh,
it's not
nice.
working.
It did sound like a
Yeah,
movie
it sounded like
reference.
you were quoting something very
I
theatrical.
mean, maybe.
Nice.
Ooh, someone had a good question. What's the difference between Fred and George and James and Sirius?
Fred and George are like pranksters. They're not like
They did throw
bullies.
what's his face.
This might have been the farthest they've gone yet. You're right.
Yeah.
in the vanishing room.
Yeah.
I feel like Fred and George are doing it like the prank, like you said, pranksters. I feel like they would also prank people they like.
Yeah.
So it feels like they do it for the enjoyment. In theory, they want everyone laughing, maybe even the person being pranked. Not always with the first years that they were making try their snacks. I feel like maybe some people view the Weasleys the same way Snape viewed James and Sirius. Maybe. Some of the first years, still recovering from their snack box incidents from their first or second week, might view them that way.
Yeah. Because I think we asked a question a long time ago, even on the podcast, what the difference between bullying and like where the line between bullying and pranking is. I feel like we talked about that a little while ago.
It's a fine line sometimes.
I know.
Yeah.
With your friends, sometimes it's okay, but if you're doing it to like Snape, or even if like the twins are doing it, I guess, out of a little bit of self-defense, maybe.
Theirs feels like a little more playful, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I feel like
yeah.
because we've seen them more. This is one of the only
Maybe,
instances
yeah.
that we see James. So we don't really see his whole life growing up. We know that he saved Snape's life at some point, and maybe Snape is disdainful of him, so that's why he does this kind of stuff to him. He didn't ever thank him, and maybe James is always resentful of that factor. I don't know what it is. But I don't know. The Fred and George thing does seem less serious than the James and Sirius thing for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like with James and Sirius, it felt like they wanted Snape to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
They wanted
Right.
him to feel shame.
Yeah.
But I don't think of the Weasley twins as wanting someone to feel shamed. Like, but I
see
can't
them
put my
flipping someone over and letting like exposing
Yeah.
their underwear, underparts
Yeah.
to like other students and laughing about that. They would make a student throw up. They test their stuff on things. They'd put people in a vanishing cabinet, but I feel like they wouldn't go to that extent.
Right. And maybe it's also just naturally the way that I view them. I don't think of them as being arrogant, but it seems like James, at least, maybe Sirius as well, they're pretty arrogant.
Yeah. And yeah, that's an interesting one too, because I feel like James has something like this weird little thing in him that he spites Snape with everything that he has. I don't think Fred and George have that. They don't have someone where they absolutely detest and hate. They have people who they like seriously you know, can't stand at certain moments, but it's not like they have this one person in the school at any
Yeah,
given
you're
time where
right.
they're like, we need to go out of our way to like harm this person.
Like it's not directed at an individual because
Yeah.
they exist.
Mhm.
It's like the next random student who walks down this hallway is going to be pranked. But that's way less vindictive than singling someone out every time you see them and trying to make them hurt emotionally.
Wow, someone just said Fred and George bullied Percy. And that's the reason Percy left and never felt comfortable with his family. Could you imagine?
I mean, they definitely did.
Yeah.
And that was very purposeful and directed at him.
But it's siblings.
Yeah.
You're right. It is different when it's siblings.
Yeah.
I think so, at least.
But Percy would definitely take the other side of that.
Yeah.
Like I could
He
imagine
doesn't
him.
have that playful side like that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
he would definitely take it personally.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
James
I don't like it,
is
though.
a weird.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Like,
Ugh.
I just don't like
Percy's
Percy.
villain origin story.
I know, yeah. None of us like Percy here.
But it stinks to blame his weirdness on the
Yeah.
Weasley twins.
I know. All right, let's go to the next
Hmm.
chapter. Sorry.
Yes.
We got to move on. Chapter 29, career advice. Or careers advice.
Oh no.
Oh, this chapter was
Great
good.
chapter. What happens in this chapter?
I don't know.
Harry gets career
Career advice.
advice.
From McGonagall.
Because this is where we start to
and
learn
Umbridge is
about
there.
what it takes to actually get into these careers, right? This is the chapter where
Yeah.
we see them reading those pamphlets of like to be an the Auror comes up next
Yeah.
chapter, but to be in St. Mungo's, you have to get 5 excellence on your OWLs. And they're kind of going into some of that, but then I'm trying to think what else happens.
Counselor.
Wait, is this
Well,
the
this is
chapter
where he talks
met
to
with?
McGonagall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so this is where the
This
Auror
is it,
comes
yeah.
up. Nice.
Yep.
Friggin' Umbridge.
Oh, that with McGonagall and Umbridge
I
was so
love
good.
that back and forth.
So good.
Umbridge and McGonagall.
And then is this where Fred and George do their swamp
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
thing?
That's how
Okay.
he gets
Yeah, that's how he goes
to
into the.
talk to Sirius.
Oh, that's right.
Create the distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So good.
Didn't Sirius give Harry a gift and said, "If you need to reach me, open this"?
Mm-hmm.
The knife?
Did I miss that?
Yeah, that
So-
was a little while ago.
Yeah, but then I
But
was
the knife
confused
wasn't the
because
gift, was it?
He said
I
the
assumed it
Chris.
was.
I thought it was. I assumed it was the knife
Yeah.
to open up the doors, but then he said it was the Christmas before the last. So it made it seem like it was long ago, and that
I couldn't remember if it was
this
last book or 2 books
envelope-
ago,
I couldn't
though.
remember.
But it literally hasn't come up since then.
Timeline doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
All this time, they
But
never
then
used this
It
knife.
doesn't make sense. Like you could call me any. I don't know. It was just weird. I
But-
felt like the knife doesn't add up to
Right,
how
I'm literally
he
thinking
handed
Harry
him.
has a gift in his trunk that is wrapped from Sirius, and he could open it, and that would be the easiest way to communicate. But it all worked out, so I'm glad. That's great.
Yeah.
But like, I'm surprised he waited this long to open the gift. First thing when he walked away from Sirius,
Do you think
if
it's
I
a
was him, I
knife?
would have opened it. No, I don't think the gift is a knife. I think the gift is something else. And I think I speculated it was
Like
an IM equivalent,
emergency.
like instant
Oh.
messenger. You know, you open it up and you can write in it, and it like sends some kind of automated message, a mirrored diary on his side, or some kind of telephone, a way of communicating. I don't know how, but something. Yeah, but how? How could that be?
Yeah. She's kind of almost tried to get the reader to forget that.
Yes,
But it's always like in the back of your head, though. You're like, why hasn't he pulled this thing out yet?
Maybe it's in the back of your head.
Yeah. well, this
well,
is,
mine.
yeah,
this is what
yeah.
happens with Harry, too, because he says he will never use that ever because he's nervous of Sirius getting in
Yeah.
trouble for making whatever it is. But Harry doesn't really know what it is. He never unwrapped it. He just put it in his trunk and then left it.
Yeah,
So he
And-
didn't know what it is.
and that like is fine to a certain degree, but it feels like now's the time. Enough is going on, like. You can get off your high horse a little bit, open the present, see what it is, and then decide if you're going to use it. Decide like if it's risky or not. But it feels like, honestly, it feels like he forgot about it. He didn't
Yeah.
once even entertain the idea. And if we were reading at a faster pace, I probably would have forgotten about it.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know, laying in bed thinking about Harry Potter as one does, and I'm like, what about that gift?
Yeah. Do you guys
Naturally.
Do you guys remember there was a moment in the chapters? What was that wild mistranslation that we had in the chapters? I forgot what it was.
What, the one with the
Yours?
noses in the air, like
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
did it say again?
I don't know. I don't want to make it even worse than it was.
Oh, they're peckers?
We're keeping our peckers up
Yeah.
in the air.
I didn't know what you were talking about, and I was like, wait, what?
Christina remembers that.
Naturally.
This was
That's what I remember.
there was another moment that I mentioned when we were talking about that was with Filch. And
Oh,
he,
thought of
that.
He punts them across the swamp, and punting is like you have the big row thing, and it's like what they do in Florence. Where's that Italian city? Filled
Florence?
with water.
Venice.
Yeah. It's what they do in Venice. They punt people. And they're using that rowing thing, and they touch the bottom and they push people along. So that's what punting is.
Oh,
I didn't know
But
that.
that's why it's so funny now, because he's punting students across the pond.
like drop
Yeah.
kicking
I was
them.
like, what the heck?
It's such a funny moment. I love that so much. Okay. Anyway, what is going on with Harry at the start of this chapter? Is he only depressed because of the memories he saw, or is there something else going on?
I thought it was mostly just because he had his dad on like a pedestal, and now that's kind of been shattered.
Yep.
And he's like, he felt honored to be called like James's son, and that he was similar to James, and now he feels kind of grossed out by that, or
He's second guessing that. He doesn't really love it.
yeah. And then he doesn't even, and then he thinks that his dad like convinced Lily to marry him,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
like very manipulative, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, like thinking like that about your parents.
I know. That's such a strange thing to think through. Like I'm actually really curious to get the DL between what happened between his 5th and 7th year that made Lily change her mind about
Yeah.
him. Because there is one thing about this dude that I think Lily is a very independent person.
Oh, I wonder if I know. Because remember, Snape owes James his life in a way. So it must be something with, I'm wondering if it's something with that. And Lily saw it happen and was like, whoa, never mind. You're not
He's a
this
hottie."
arrogant,
All right,
self-absorbed thing.
James, you're kind of cute now.
I don't know.
Save someone's life. Yeah, that
So that's
is
the line.
yeah, that is mentioned. But that's the one thing I think Lily is written as a really good, beautiful character because she's so independent and she thinks for herself. Do you think that she's easy to manipulate? She doesn't strike me as a
No.
person
I
that's
wouldn't-
easy to
no.
manipulate.
But Harry's just caught up in that
Yeah.
storyline, I
Yeah.
think. So, yeah.
That'd be tough for Harry to like think through that.
But then it's like all you think about, too.
Yeah.
So when, what was it, Ginny asked about, are you upset with Cho? Or like, don't worry, you can make up with Cho, right? Isn't that
Oh,
Ginny?
yeah.
Also, Ginny is like a Hermione. I'm like, it's like Hermione
I know.
no, Junior.
Yeah, Hermione Jr.
I'm like, not 2.0. She's not better than her. But she's like, helps these guys like process their thoughts.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
I loved her line where she said, anything's possible if you've got enough nerve.
I know. One thing growing up with Fred and George,
Right.
anything is possible.
I know. It is so good. Do you guys think that Harry is an idiot, though, to be breaking into Umbridge's office to talk with Snape?
Ooh. I didn't think it was that important to talk to
Yeah.
Sirius about your dad and that whole memory. I thought maybe it was something more important in regards to Dumbledore, the Order, his dreams, Snape's occlumency classes, like something like that. Yeah, it's worth it, but not.
Yeah. It was important to Harry, though. That was like
I know, but it's like not.
top tier in
yeah.
his head.
So-
Outside, like reading from the outside,
Yeah.
you can see that.
I
But when you're
know.
in it, especially when he didn't know his parents, so
Yeah.
it's like that was taking priority
Well,
in his
yeah.
head. So I get that. But again, he's Harry and will do stupid things.
Yeah, he's like such an idiot for some of this stuff. Like, I understand why he would want to do that. I feel like he has no peace in his mind right now, and this is maybe the only way that he can get some kind of semblance of calm and peace again. And he's stressed, and he's doing OWLs, all that kind of stuff. But it's just an idiotic move, I feel like.
Yeah.
Just to go ahead and take that serious of a risk to try to calm his mind. I don't know.
Yeah, especially with Umbridge.
I know.
But I thought I
Harry.
also wasn't sure if that fire network was. You know how Harry said, "Oh, Umbridge told me that her fireplace is the only one that's not watched," and I'm like, was that just a bluff to
Yeah.
Yeah.
get Harry like in trouble?
Yeah. Seriously.
So that's where I was like, I don't know.
Is she saying that kind of stuff just
Is
to
it
catch him?
safe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like maybe she has the whole thing monitored, and she's like, "Yeah, that actually would be a really brilliant bluff." If she just all of a sudden was like, "Oh yeah, mine is the only one that's not."
That's what I.
Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Harry. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Danny, what do you think about? Do you think Harry is an idiot to be breaking into Umbridge's office to talk with Snape, or to talk with Sirius? Sorry.
A little bit, yeah. She always knows where everyone is. She knows when they're out of bed. Maybe Harry doesn't realize that, but
Sorry, she's Santa Claus.
She knows when you're sleeping.
knows
She's the worst
when
Santa
you're
Claus in the
awake.
world.
When
Sorry,
you're
keep
awake.
going.
Toad Santa
knows
Claus.
when you've been
Toad
Santa
Santa
Um,
Sorry, keep
and
going.
Harry is not being good, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
I feel
Picturing
like
a toad face with a Santa hat.
But it's green.
And then her pink little tweed outfit.
Well, I think the thing that annoyed me about this is if this was for good reason, talking about Dumbledore, talking about something with the Order, talking about anything else, yes. But it was really just for his own mental health, his own
Did you share a
sanity.
mind or something?
Yeah.
What, is that what you said?
I literally just.
Wow, nice. So yeah, now I feel like I should take the other side. No, I'm just kidding.
I did.
Okay, good.
I already covered it.
No, that's great. Yeah, it just felt like it wasn't worth it. But I don't know
Since
how
you've
Harry
been
was
gone, we've been
feeling. So
No, what do you think? Okay, here's a different question. What do you think the trio would be good at for their jobs?
I still think Harry would be a good Auror.
Yeah.
Kelly Clarkson. Anyone?
We got that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. You were saying.
Oh,
I love how there's like a theme song that emerges from each of these episodes. Always usually something Disney, but this one's Kelly Clarkson since you've been
Nice.
It was just so good.
It was perfect.
gone. That fit. Okay, or Harry would be a good Auror. What would the rest of them be good at?
Oh, you asked us last time, and I don't know if anything's changed.
I still think
Hermione.
Ron would be something with Quidditch. I know we're choosing a hobby there, but he should be Madam Hooch. I feel like he could be a decent teacher of Quidditch eventually. He's a bit of a long way to go, but I also can't picture him doing.
But he's
A
like
lot
super
else?
loyal, so I'm like, what would be a good?
You're right.
Is it in the Ministry of Magic? There was like some kind of career that you would be.
Department of Mysteries,
I don't know.
because it takes a lot of trust and loyalty. I feel like Ron would be a good person to keep a secret.
Ron would be assistant to the regional manager. Of Harry Potter.
Yeah, you're so right. So right. Honestly, whatever Harry does, Ron just needs to do that too with Harry. You're right.
So
He's
does
got to
Hermione.
assist him. No, Hermione could go do her own thing. I could picture her as a doctor at St. Mungo's.
Healer? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, healer.
Does she
Right,
like
right,
to
right.
do
Of course.
I don't think
I don't
ever comes
think
up.
so.
Okay. She would be really good at it.
She would, but also I can't. Oh, she
Is
is
there
good with
anything she
people
would
though.
be bad at?
No.
You're
That's the
right.
real question. I don't think there is. Quidditch.
But, we
But
said
maybe
that's
she's
a
gonna
hobby.
Maybe. Yeah. I'm like, if she played Quidditch, what position?
What would you guys want to do in the Wizarding world? What job?
I want to go to the job fair. I want to look through all these paemphets. I feel like I don't even know
wanna
what's
do in
out
this
there.
I'm in enough trouble right now. Don't ask me that question in the Wizarding world.
No, we all want to be Fred and George, okay? We open
I
up our
know.
own shop.
Yeah,
that's
business
true.
owner. That's the move right there.
I'll own my bookshop. There we go.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Bookshop, brewery, plant store,
All in one.
all in one.
Whoa. Yeah, that would be great. I mean,
Coffee
my
shop, did
current
you say
Yeah.
that too?
banking
Coffee
career, I
slash
could work for
bar.
Gringotts.
Yeah, there you
I don't know if there's Wizard Insurance, but I could get into that. Gringotts would be cool, but I don't think they'd let me in. Are there any non-goblins
Why
who
wouldn't
work
they
for
let you in?
Gringotts?
Doesn't the
Ron's brother.
Weasley? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. More out in
curse
I
field.
could
breaker.
see you more
You would
as
be a
like a
curse
dragon
breaker.
trainer.
Ooh, that'd be
Oh.
fun.
Ooh, yeah, dragon
You'd be
trainer.
a dragon trainer.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be down. Except, it feels weird. I still don't fully get the
Like
dragon
long
training
hair, and
thing.
you have to have like the long earring.
Yeah, if I'm
Then
out
you
in the
can get,
pyramids
like,
and doing all
a-
that,
What's her Avila?
I could get a vila.
Yeah.
Get Avila. My cheeks hurt.
Women are not property, Jen.
No, I'm saying you would attract one. Not actually get. Yeah, whatever, guys.
Man.
We have some great lines in this though. This chapter. It might be one of the most quoted
Well,
chapters.
Vila is not actually a human, is it? Okay, anyway.
Yeah, it's like partial.
Partial?
No, Flora is a partial,
Yeah,
but Avila is a completely different
Oh.
thing.
Right.
it's like an
They're just super hot women.
animal.
I wonder if there's any Vila men.
I don't know. Get me one.
Guys, men are not property.
Whatever.
So this is one of the most quoted chapters I think of all time. There's so many good
Wow.
moments in this chapter, and there's a few that happen with them in the meeting. And it goes, Professor Umbridge gave her most pronounced cough yet. May I offer you a cough drop, Dolores? Professor McGonagall asked curtly without looking at Professor Umbridge. And she goes, I should have made my meaning plainer, said Professor McGonagall, turning at last to look at Umbridge directly in the eyes. He has achieved high marks in all Defense Against the Dark Arts tests set by a competent teacher.
Yeah.
Professor Umbridge's smile vanished as suddenly as a light bulb blowing.
Mic drop.
Then she goes, Potter, she said in ringing tones, I will assist you to become an Auror if it is the last thing that I
Yep,
do.
that's
If
my
I have to coach
favorite.
you nightly, I will make sure you achieve the required results. McGonagall is going off here, and I love it.
Yes.
What do you guys think about the whole showdown between McGonagall and Umbridge?
It was so good.
I'm a little surprised because
I know.
McGonagall's been like subtly rebellious, but
She's
this
been
is so
warning Harry
blatant.
against being.
Yeah.
She just goes.
And now she's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I wonder if she felt empowered by the Weasleys at all. You know, like
Everyone was
a tone shift. They're like, you know what? Yeah, we don't have to like her. We don't have to listen to her. Done.
And then they're more of the masses, right? So what is that phrasing where it's like,
Majority rules.
sure, that's not it, but that's okay. I'll go with that.
Hmm.
No, like they're realizing that they can outnumber Umbridge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Power in numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
Did I get it?
Yeah.
Ding,
Thanks.
I
ding,
feel like
ding.
you're just sad.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know what the phrasing was, honestly, until you. Never mind.
Yeah, it is. It is actually interesting to see some of the teachers do slightly feel empowered by Fred and George, which is just. I have to say on this reading, and I was talking to someone in chat about this too. I think Fred and George have grown so much as cooler characters. I have always loved them. And there was one question that was going around on TikTok a while ago that was like, are Fred and George overrated as characters? And even back then I said no. And when I read this right now, like at this point, I'm like, they're
Heck.
some of the most underrated
Yeah.
characters.
You're right.
Even the movies, they're like great in the movies, but they're so underrated. The books, Fred and George, are more brilliant than they are in the movies. They're like,
Yeah, you're right.
honestly, some of the most brilliant students in the school,
Mm-hmm.
some of the most creative and imaginative, and they're legitimately inspiring the teachers right now to
Yep.
like rebel and to like fight against Dolores. They're the leaders at the school at the moment.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah, you're
wild.
right.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yep. And they're like young business owners, and like
Yeah.
the fact that they have the extra mental capacity to do all this like playful stuff, it just shows how easy school is for them.
Yeah.
Like it feels like they don't even have to try.
Yep.
They're great.
There, yeah, it's easy for them. But then he goes into the office. He finally goes into Umbridge's office, and he's talking with James and Sirius, or not James, Sirius and Lupin. Sorry. And he goes, "He kept messing up his hair," said Harry in a pained voice. Sirius and Lupin laughed. "I'd forgotten he used to do that," said Sirius affectionately. "Was he playing with the snitch?" said Lupin eagerly. "Yeah," said Harry, watching uncomprehendingly as Sirius and Lupin beamed reminiscently. "Well, I thought he was a bit of an idiot." Are Sirius and Lupin right to laugh this off like this? Like, is this just them viewing their past selves as being idiots, and they grew a lot since then. Because that's another thing that they said, oh, Harry, you can't judge him for this because he was 16 or whatever. And Harry's like, he was my age.
Right.
And
Right.
Harry seems a heck of a lot more mature than James does at this moment.
But he's also been through a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's also just taken on Voldemort, like, what, 3 times at this point?
Yeah, for real.
Where those guys were just having fun.
Yeah.
No care. I don't even think Voldemort wasn't even the Dark Lord then.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
just being a kid.
And even his upbringing, I wonder if James had a good upbringing. Sometimes when you have a good upbringing, it's not like going to push you into bullying, but you're just like confident in who you are.
Right.
Harry was bullied growing up, so he gets that. So I wonder if it hits him more because of his past.
Huh.
Maybe the bullying comes from Lily's side of the family.
Yeah, maybe, honestly.
Yeah.
I also like the way they talk about it. I can't tell if there was real growth. Like, I can't tell how legitimate it is. Like, are they laughing it off in a bad way? Like they shouldn't be, like they should be taking it seriously? Or is it feels like such a weird blip so long ago. They're like, oh my goodness. Yeah, that was silly. But like, we've already processed how bad that was. And we all grew since then. That was like, that's not really who James is. And I can't tell if this bullying was a negative blip in James' life or if this is who he was for his whole life up until some point. So, yeah, I can't really tell.
And then, I mean, your question, even going back to it, what was the point where he changed? Like, what was that, like, turning point in his life that caused him to have a radical change in his life, if he did? Or maybe this really wasn't truly who he was. I mean, like, they mentioned a point, which I think is a valid one. The whole time he's doing this, he's looking at Lily, trying to impress Lily. Because he sees this cute girl down at the lake. I feel like that's very true of a lot of stupid things that you do in your life. Not obviously, it shouldn't be to this extent. That, like, what he's doing is pretty disgusting. But all guys get louder and more obnoxious. Like your brother said, Danny 2.0, right?
Classic.
Like, all guys get more loud and obnoxious and like boisterous around a girl that they like. I feel like it's the same for girls, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Quiet. They get meaner.
Or they ignore someone. Or that's
Yeah,
true,
they
too.
just ignore. Yeah. So that's, maybe this really isn't truly who James is. Maybe he was just trying to be, but the levels that he took it to are pretty disgusting, I think. It also brings up another interesting point. Like, how do you guys view your past selves?
I don't know. And is it even accurate anymore?
I know, right?
I feel like I can choose a lot of different ways to view my past self. Like, if I don't know if you ever had someone ask you, like, tell me your life story, you know, and you have to like start from the beginning, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah. And it feels like sometimes I'll get a few minutes into that story and realize that I accidentally settled on one theme.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll tell it another time and be on a different theme.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's putting my entire life in a certain framing that I didn't even intend. So I don't know. The way you view your past is so strange.
Yeah. Well, you wonder if in that moment, something that you're learning, since that's at the forefront of your
Oh,
mind.
yeah, yeah.
Like maybe in the past, how you were like bad in that area.
Yeah.
Maybe because that's what I tend to do. It's like, oh, I'm learning this, so it's there.
Yep.
So I was not the greatest in this area, so I'll kind of go through that. I mean, I have major life events that have happened like before and after. I have like one of those, so I tend to circle around that. But yeah, I wonder like if those things at the forefront of your mind tend to come out kind of
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Because that is true. Whenever we tell our story, most of us are more storytellers rather than historians. No, we're not going to tell our life. I was born this day, then next month this happened, the next year this happened.
Yesterday.
Like, yeah.
You were born yesterday? Wow.
We do kind of
grew fast.
Yeah, we do tell our stories through themes. And I mean, this is Snape's memory, so his theme is the theme of being bullied.
Right.
And, I mean, let's actually talk about that question for a little bit. Why was this actually too perceived as Snape's worst memory?
I feel like this must have set him on a path. This was a turning point for him. Like, if we're talking about life stories, I feel like there are always big moments that change a trajectory. This must have been one for him. Because the memory itself, from James' perspective, it feels like it wasn't like that abnormal of a day.
Yeah.
It feels like this was kind of the norm, usual bullying, a little interaction with Evans. So it feels like the only reason this might stand out a little bit more is it was like the breaking point for Snape. Maybe. But then I don't know where he went from here.
So there's another moment that I want to mention, even with this too. Do we not get the full memory? Did Snape show up just in time to pull Harry away from something, where something terrible happened after Lily left?
I meant to go back and read the details that we got in book 3 with the Marauders, and like they were.
I went like this and went, nope.
What?
You said I went to go back and read, and I was like, then you said book 3, and I was like, no, not in this chapter.
Yeah.
You were gonna go back.
No, just because I couldn't remember all the details with the Marauders, and then that time with Snape, and
But it was
like
following them into the.
he was following them, but like, wasn't that year 5 when they were becoming Animagi?
Right, but I think this
And that would
must
be
have been
this
after.
year.
I would have thought it was
So
after
right,
this.
like but like, was that the next day? You know what I mean? Like,
To
could
get
that have
back at
been?
them?
Yeah. Like, was that the real moment? And we were about to get the details of all of that, because I couldn't remember how it all went.
Well,
but
they
like,
were learning about werewolves in that. That was part of their test, so that
Yeah.
would make sense.
yep. And then, because Snape almost died during that, right? And I forget how it all went or why, but I wanted to like reread that and see if that could have connected to this. Again, because this didn't feel like the biggest deal.
Well, he also said it wasn't a full moon yet because Sirius was bored. He's like, "Can it be a full moon?"
Mm-hmm.
So it must.
That's true. But Harry did say the full moon could be approaching, because Lupin was looking a little bit he was looking a little pale, a little bit meh in class. Like, he might not be his best self.
He thought he just came out of it, didn't he?
Oh, really? Okay. Could
Is
be.
that?
I was thinking he was approaching. Like, on either end, he might be a little bit like...
Your story seems fair, though. Probably the next thing would be that memory, I would think.
But maybe it has nothing to do with that memory from book 3, but I don't know what else it would be. Like, is this what we saw? Is that enough to be the worst memory for Snape?
But maybe everyone saw this, right? Or maybe everyone was talking about it. Or their pictures posted.
Yeah, I know.
Pictures
Everyone's
posted.
got Instagram. I mean, imagine if your pecker is being shown to hundreds of people.
Oh, and then they said he has
Oof.
to wash his underwear.
I know. That's super embarrassing. So right now, I feel like if we just had the memory that we have there and nothing happens after, I think this is maybe the most embarrassed he had. Maybe that's why this is like the worst memory that he's had. But it kind of just drives home, like, was there something else other than the embarrassment that happened in this memory that made this the worst memory that Snape had? And I feel like that's really hard to figure out.
Yeah, because to me, reading this, it doesn't seem like this should be the worst.
Yeah.
The worst should be when you became a Death Eater.
Yeah.
You're right.
But
And,
maybe
like,
Danny is right. Maybe this set him on the course of becoming a Death Eater, and he was like, I'm not going back at this point.
Maybe. I mean, they did say he was obsessed or really loved the dark
dark arts, yeah.
And then, I mean, that could also be why people make fun of you, right? Like, if you like something that no one else really likes.
Yeah.
Or, like, it's a weird thing to like. You kind of get made fun of in high school.
Right.
For that.
I like that Lupin wasn't getting involved in all of it. He was kind of doing his own thing. Seems like he didn't approve.
But he should have stepped in.
Yeah. hard to stand up to your
But
friends.
maybe he also was turning into a werewolf, so that
Yeah, he was a little
his
busy.
energy had to.
Like trying to hold it together, just trying to survive over here.
Yikes!
Yeah. At the end of this chapter, though, we get a beautiful moment. "Stop them!" shrieked Umbridge. But it was too late. As the Inquisitorial squad closed in, Fred and George kicked off from the floor, shooting 15 feet in the air, and the iron peg swinging dangerously below. Fred and George looked across the hall at the poltergeist bobbing on his level above the crowd. "Give her hell from us, Peeves." And Peeves, who Harry had never seen take orders from a student before, swept his bellied hat from his head and sprang to a salute as Fred and George wheeled about to tumultuous applause from the students below and spat out of the open doors into the glorious sunset.
Fantastic.
So good.
Mm.
One of my favorite moments in this entire book. I
Yeah.
love this so much. What do you think about this moment where they left?
Legendary.
Like cheering for them, yeah.
Legendary.
It is going to go down as legend in this school.
Yep.
I love that Peeves salutes them too.
I
Like-
love that he's taking orders from
I
them.
know.
Like continues it.
I know. Because it says that in the next chapter too. All these students are starting to do things, but no one is outdoing Peeves. He is causing havoc in the corridors, and I love that so much.
Minerva's helping him out.
Yeah, it unscrews the other way.
Oh, I know. It's so good.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's such a good end to this
Ugh.
chapter too.
Mm-hmm.
And then, anything else in the chapter before we go on to chapter 30, the last one?
Just one thing.
I only just look at Danny whenever I say that.
Well, I just thought it was like a little dig at Mr. Weasley when they were going over the OWLs and talking about Muggle studies, because you don't seem to need many qualifications to liaise with Muggles. Much more important is your enthusiasm, patience, and a good sense of fun. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's Mr. Weasley.
That's
Those
Mr.
are good
Weasley,
things
yeah.
to have.
Yeah,
They
that's
are
so
good things to
great.
have.
Yep. Even if it was mildly insulting. Also,
Oh, is this where they? No, is it the next chapter where Harry tells them that he gave money to the Fred and George?
That might
next
be
chapter,
the
they're
beginning of the
discussing
next.
That, I think,
Okay.
yeah.
oh, actually, it might have been last chapter. At some point, Ron said something about.
No, because so it was this one because they said how are they even able to
Howard?
afford the place, and that's when.
Oh,
Harry
yeah,
spilled the
yeah,
beans. So
yeah.
I think it happens in the next chapter.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because I just
I
read
think.
this chapter last night.
Yeah.
It's fresh.
Yes.
Also, there was a stray comment someone made about that's more likely to happen. It's more likely Mr. Weasley would become head of the ministry than for that to happen. And I was like, I want that to happen.
Yeah, Mr. Weasley.
Mr.
becoming
Weasley is the head of the
Minister
ministry. I think we even discussed that at some point. I'm not so sure he'd be good at it, but
Yeah.
in comparison to Fudge, anyone would be good at it right now. I think we
Fudge
need
is
someone
not saying
honest rather than experienced. Fudge might be experienced, but he's just
And what?
the worst.
Though?
Yeah, he is the
Experienced
worst.
in what?
actually maybe it's Daddy's money that got him in there.
Fudge?
Yeah, he comes from wealth. He's got his own private army.
Yeah.
We don't know about it yet, but we're gonna find out.
I mean,
and I
he's
hope.
cooking. He's cooking goblins, and so
Yeah, all right. All this like weird stuff going on.
according to the Quibbler. All right, chapter 30, the final chapter in this section. It's called Grop. Give me a summary of this one.
We have we have another Quidditch match where Hagrid pulls Harry and Hermione from it to take them into the Forbidden Forest. We meet Grop, who is Hagrid's half brother. Hagrid asks them to visit Grop after he gets sacked. I don't know why that's such a funny saying to me. Ron finally plays well in the match, and Gryffindor wins.
A turning of the phrase "Weasley is our king." I love
I know,
that
that
so
was
much.
so
awesome.
Mm.
This is probably my least favorite chapter in the whole series because I was so excited to watch this Quidditch match, and we didn't get that.
No.
Hagrid comes and takes him away, and this was the Quidditch match to watch. Out of
course.
any Quidditch match in all
Yep.
Hogwarts history, this is the one where they come from behind and they have a terrible team and they win. I was so mad that we didn't get to see that. I wanted to rewrite this chapter from another bystander in the audience so I could see.
But I
Like-
thought he did better because no one was there.
He didn't know that Ron and Hermione weren't there.
His mindset changed before the game. I knew he was going to play well. I could feel it.
Yeah.
Because
There
his
was
brothers
something,
It
left.
can't get any worse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
right. That
The
mentality.
pressure.
Yeah, that happened to me my junior year of dance. Sorry, going to a random story here. But I was going against these two girls. It was a solo. I was going up for the title, and I was like, there is literally no way I'm going to beat these two because they're like phenomenal. And I was like, there's just no way. So whatever. So I just threw all hope into the air, and I just went out and danced, and I won.
Yes.
So I related. I was like, oh my gosh, I noticed that moment where
Yeah.
I was like, he didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
As soon as you let that go,
Yep.
I was like, he's gonna play well, and he did.
You did. I love
Go
it.
Ron.
I love it. This was my least favorite chapter for that reason though. But we start this chapter off. It goes, eventually the area was roped off, and Filch, the swamp area, gnashing his teeth furiously, was given the task of punting students across to their classrooms, as the British version says. Harry was certain that teachers like McGonagall or Flitwick could have removed the swamp in an instant. But just as in the case of Fred and George Wildfire whiz-bangs, they seem prefer to watch Umbridge struggle. If you guys were part of the school, what prank would you play on Umbridge now? Because the whole school is playing pranks on her.
Hmm.
I feel like you'd be good at this.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
We
feel
just
like-
have a bunch of toads fill her entire room.
Yes.
The plagues.
Her classroom and her office. Yeah.
I feel like this would also be a good like Home Alone scenario. She opens her class door, her hand gets burned, and her head gets burned from a flamethrower coming on the other side.
That'd be good.
I like that the Weasleys built in almost like counters to whatever they would do. So it's like, again, that thinking a couple steps ahead. If they try to do this spell, it'll multiply it this many times, and do this one, it'll have this effect. I think that's just so fun because it's endless possibilities.
And then what are they? Umbridgeitis, right? It's
my
like
gosh,
their.
He laughed so hard.
And she just gave up.
Yeah.
Like, oh. Another thing that'd be funny is she's obsessed with the book reading. So everything that she opens or it turns into books. Like she goes to try to make tea, it turns into a book. Or
That's
she
a
goes
good
to eat,
one.
it
Yeah,
turns
that
into
is
a
good.
book.
That's a really
Great.
good one. Or she's just like Fred and George. They're pelting. Remember they were pelting Quirrell with snowballs to the back of his head.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine them doing that with her, but books. Like the books just follow her around and they just
Wow.
keep pelting her in their head.
That would be good.
And he goes, none of the staff but Filch seem to be stirring themselves to help her. Indeed, a week after Fred and George's departure, Harry witnessed Professor McGonagall walking right past Peeves, who was determinedly loosening a crystal chandelier, and could have sworn he heard her tell the poltergeist out of the corner of her mouth, "It unscrews the other way." It's so good.
So funny.
I know.
I was just thinking, if you use this book to pelt her in the back of the head, she's getting knocked out.
After like
big
three,
old
she's
book.
Like, "Ugh," she's done. On a more serious note, do you think that Harry should be this serious about occlumency and go back to Snape? You mentioned it before, Danny, where he's not taking this seriously at all. But should he be taking this more seriously? Should he go back to Snape and say, "I need you to teach me this because this is what everyone wants"?
Should he go back to Snape?
Yeah, I kind of think so. Only because that's what Dumbledore is telling him to do.
But what's gonna make him change his mind?
I don't know. And the idea of going and apologizing to Snape sounds kind of lame. It's sounds harsh. It'd be so terrible to have to go back and literally apologize and set aside your differences for the greater good. But I feel like Harry should. But if I was in his shoes, I'd probably be too stubborn to do that.
There's also a thing where I don't know how much of a gap you want to bridge with Snape, because I don't think Harry cares that much about that. But if there is a moment where you can, all that Snape sees is he sees James and Harry. He sees this arrogant arrogant kid who's kind of a bully. And if Harry goes up to Snape right now and is like, "Hey, I'm sorry for looking at that memory, but I'm equally as sorry for what my dad did to you. That was wrong. I feel like Snape goes, okay. And then there's, like one brick of a bridge built right there.
Yep.
But I also think he needs to actually practice.
Yeah.
So that way when he does go to apologize, if he accepts the apology and wants to teach him again, he can see that he's improved.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
that's
he's
fair.
like serious about it.
And that's something we don't see. Well, Harry does like care about some things, but it would be really nice to see him go to Hermione and say, "Can you get me a book on this? Like, how does one clear his mind? Snape's not being very helpful, but I really want to practice so I can go." Like, it feels like he's missed a few opportunities to do the right thing in terms of like his tutoring here, but it's not too late. It's gonna be tough to convince Snape, but if he can approach Snape with the right posture while Snape hears from Lupin, right? Lupin said he was gonna go find him or talk to him. Like
So
a combination of those things, I feel like it could work.
well, it's like everyone just needs to get over themselves for the greater good of
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
And the order. So like
Yeah.
Come on.
You guys love that phrase, for the greater good.
I think
Whenever I say it, I
copied
just think of Hot
from-
Fuzz. I don't know if you guys have seen that. They always chant the greater good.
Also,
Is that the
In
Police
Um,
movie?
Yeah.
What is that?
No, I've never seen it, but I can like picture the cover of it.
Ask the 8-Ball has a good idea to prank Umbridge. Replacing her tea with Polyjuice potions spiked with frog legs, so she turns into a half toad.
Oh,
That is
my
great.
That's
goodness.
perfect.
That is so good.
That is good. Or what about the serum, the truth serum?
Veritaserum.
Yeah.
That would
Okay,
be interesting.
Was she spiking Harry's
Yeah.
drink with what? Was it Veritaserum? What was it with? Poison?
I think it was the truth. I missed it.
Oh
Do it again.
gosh.
Once and done.
So shocked.
I definitely didn't think of it as being poison, but it could be. Well, actually, what kind of poison?
No, I
Poison
think
doesn't
she-
always mean death.
Oh, I thought she wanted to find out where Sirius Black was. And she knew that Harry knew.
Because that's what. Those are the questions that she was asking. It was all about Sirius Black. So was it Veritaserum that was
But it,
spiked?
it is
Mm.
interesting that they brought that up in a book or two ago. So you know what she's trying to do.
Mhm.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
If she got that potion poison serum from Snape, would it do the desired effect, or would Snape give her one that's like a little softer or has an antidote or something, knowing that it was going to be used for something
Evil.
not good?
Well, the question is whether Snape is good or bad then. Is he
Yeah.
actually giving Umbridge the powerful Veritaserum, or is he faking it?
Hmm.
And is he really on the good side? Is he good or bad?
I'm thinking he's
question.
pretty good now, because he's helping Harry with the lessons. I only started to question it at the end, but the thing is, I actually understood. So at the same moment where I'm like feeling bad for him because he's been bullied, we see him get mad at Harry, which I feel like was pretty justified too. So I'm like, oh man, I feel like seeing his reaction to all of this and however it plays out, will he continue to help Harry for the greater good, or will he still be angry because of James or what Harry did to like break his trust or whatever else? That will determine a lot. Oh, but I forgot he broke Harry's potion, said give him a 0 on the lesson.
Yeah. Yeah.
That stuff's
He's back to his mean self.
yeah, he is being very mean. Oh man, I don't know, but I
And
still
then
think of him as
Hermione
at
got rid
least
of-
doing things for good right now. Otherwise, I don't think he would have started tutoring Harry at all, unless that's all part of the fiendish plan to read Harry's mind, or
Just
like
passing information.
something. Yeah,
I was so annoyed with Hermione cleaning up Harry's
Oh.
stuff. That's what I was
Oh.
trying to say.
That was devastating.
It's like he literally just walked up to. Why is it gone? Like
She needs to calm down on the mother.
No.
Let him handle his
Let
things.
him clean his stuff up.
Isn't that the worst when you're like doing something in your house and someone else, you walk away and someone else, I can't think of an instance.
Yeah.
No, we all know what you
Keep
mean.
going.
Hagrid does mention something though. He says he's going to help Dumbledore when he gets sacked. What is Hagrid going to do, and what is Dumbledore doing right now?
yeah. It felt so specific. Like
Yeah.
he knew Dumbledore is doing a thing. I'm gonna help him. I was like, oh, I thought Dumbledore was kind of like wandering around a little bit, but it sounds like there is an established mission.
Maybe they're still collecting like people on their side.
Hmm.
I don't like convincing them.
Yeah, I guess could be. It sounded like I read that to be like there was like a spot that Hagrid would be able to go to. I also viewed it as if Dumbledore wasn't communicating, but he probably is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But if you're going to communicate with anyone, maybe not Hagrid. He's terrible with secrets.
That's very true.
I'm sure they didn't give all the
yeah,
details.
he's pretty terrible at secrets. This is the best secret that he's ever kept, the Grop secret.
You're right. Oh, yeah.
Like, he hasn't kept any other secret besides this one.
Hmm.
And I guess what Dumbledore is doing, because he doesn't really know, but still. Does he actually know what Dumbledore is doing or where Dumbledore is?
Maybe not.
I actually think he does.
Hmm.
Or maybe he's way better at secrets than we give him credit for.
He hasn't been.
But like maybe that was all part of the plan.
To give a okay.
Because the
He
main
gives
thing
up
I
the
keep
obvious
thinking of
ones, but-
is like the fluffy one. That was the worst one, right?
Yeah,
But
pretty bad.
Dumbledore also let them go down and do all of that stuff. And I'm assuming Dumbledore knew it was all happening.
Yeah.
But maybe it needed to happen.
To build their skill set
Maybe.
for right
That
now.
seems like a bit of a stretch. And he
He
did turn
sees
around
the
from
future.
London.
He knows everything.
Not everything. Oh, I don't know.
There's also a weird moment with Hagrid. Hagrid is an interesting character in these.
Yeah.
He goes, "What are these ropes for then?" Harry asks. He had noticed ropes thick as saplings stretched from around the trunk of the largest tree nearby toward the place where Grop lay curled on the ground with his back to them. "You have him tied up?" said Hermione faintly. "Well, yeah," said Hagrid, looking anxious. "See, it's like I say, he doesn't really know his own strength." Is Hagrid right to have his brother tied up like this? His half brother?
Ugh.
No, he also didn't want to come.
Yeah, why?
I'm confused.
Hagrid is wrong on a lot of levels
Yeah.
in this whole thing.
But then I'm trying to picture him dragging him there because it took 2 months. Remember, he said he
Yeah.
didn't even want to
Yeah.
go.
I'm like, how did he work that out?
I
know.
don't know. I get it because Hagrid saw him. He basically saw him in like a
Vulnerable spot?
Victim?
that and like an abusive situation.
Yeah.
Because he said he was being like bullied and
Yeah.
beaten up or whatever. So I get that like he wanted to rip him out. Sometimes in those situations you have to rip a person out of that. Maybe I don't know.
And then
But,
tie
like,
them to a tree. Yeah.
but like I get his motive behind it. But it's like
I know.
you can't force.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just pissed me off that he's bringing Harry and Hermione into
Yeah.
this.
Agreed. I know.
That's what I didn't like.
yeah.
He can't. Yeah, he's not even tame at all for Hagrid. And He
Right.
thinks
He's
the
getting beat
kids
up.
are gonna.
Yeah.
And how are they supposed to re-tie him up? I would love to see that. Maybe Hermione can do a
Hermione
spell,
with
but
magic. Yeah.
Nice. But can she?
I don't-
Because that's the thing we still don't fully get. We brought up a couple episodes ago. Like, how formidable are giants?
Hmm.
There are only however many we said, 80, couple more got killed off, 70. And this is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
If 2 fifth years can handle the giant, then they're not that formidable.
Yeah.
But how is Hagrid a half-breed then?
We better not get into
The
those
science of
details.
that, we just know that his mom was the giant. Because if his dad was a giant, there'd be a murder that happened.
Ay, ay, ay. What I mean is, like, she doesn't act like a human then, right? Like, I don't get how they love each other. I mean, maybe...
So that's actually a really interesting one. I think
Because,
one.
like,
how'd they
how do
meet?
they reproduce? Like,
How does
they
it work?
kill each other. I don't know. They just seem like wild animals.
Wild animal.
All right.
I can't say it. Sorry.
Classic.
Yep. Just keep going.
I think part of
Like-
the reason why Hagrid is actually doing this is to prove to other people that half breeds or that to Umbridge half breeds are okay. I mean, he doesn't want Harry and Hermione to go find food for him. He doesn't want anything but conversation. If he like is able to tame his brother to an extent and like almost present him to the world like this person who
Right.
is not terrible and horrible, then Hagrid is justified for teaching. I almost think Hagrid wants to do this selfishly to justify himself because he was at Umbridge's lesson and Umbridge is like treating him like this stupid individual. And he's like, if I have a giant here, actually Hagrid did all this before, but I still think that's what his motive is. If I have a giant here and I could show the world that this giant isn't, and that's what he does with everything. That's what he does with dragons, blast and Scroots. He likes these weird creatures because he wants to prove to people that they're valuable and they have value to them. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's actually really, really great. But at the same point, what is a line? Like, there's a weird line between all this kind of stuff in the magical world because there's sentient creatures that are like centaurs. They're known as half-breeds by Umbridge, but centaurians, which they come up in this chapter, students have crush on centaurs. There's a giant woman and a normal-sized male having children, aka Hagrid. However that works.
I'm just like, how do they even like each other? Like, I just don't. I'm just like, she's.
And did he speak giant? Or
well, I
did
was
she
like,
speak English?
like that's their language. So like, how do they even like say, yeah, I like you too? Like, I don't.
Maybe it was a miscommunication. I love you.
It was a miscommunication. What the?
I don't know. It just, well, yeah, the little glimpse we got into the giant world seems to be uncivilized, and I don't see how that could work emotionally, mentally.
Very interesting.
Sorry again, I was distracted by a chat.
We lost him.
Yeah, I'm back though. What do you think about the Centaurians, the centaurs, when they pop up?
I don't like them.
Yeah, they kicked one of their own out. They're like,
they were gonna kill him.
I know.
Yeah, not kick him out.
Yeah.
Oh, granted, that was coming from Hagrid's side, so it's like a little hard to tell. But it sounds like they were gonna kill. Can you kill a centaur? Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
But it just feels like something about it. We're not getting all the pieces. We're only hearing it from Hagrid's perspective. Were they really gonna kill him, one of their own, because he wanted to go? Like, why did that upset them so much?
It's also because he wanted to teach their secrets and how they view, like, you know, the future and stuff like that. So I guess I can see it being like revealing their lifestyle.
They
or
obviously have a very low view of humans.
Yeah.
But maybe they've been treated that way because they're half human, half horse, like an Umbridge.
And we still don't fully understand Firenz's motivation. Like, why was he so willing to help Dumbledore, even possibly resulting in his own death? It just feels crazy.
We have outlier creatures, like Dobby is an outlier, and in the house elves. So maybe Firenze is the same in that, but maybe there's outlier creatures that are like evil that are doing it for unjust motives.
Right.
But they show Firenze in like one of the other books, right? And
he put Harry on his back. And
like that was demeaning apparently to their...
So Firenze already was kind of a little bit more... He was a little soft towards humans.
But that makes him our favorite. He's my favorite
we like
centaur.
him. He's great. And Bane kind of ignored Harry, pretending they had never even interacted before. So, yeah, we just don't know enough information.
Like the leader was there. I feel like he would just fall into...
There is another one. Like, why do you think Hermione is really so mad here? Because she seems furious. She has this whole paragraph where she goes, "Oh, come off it, Harry," said Hermione angrily, stopping dead in her tracks so that the people behind her had to swerve to avoid her. Of course he's going to be chucked out. And to be perfectly honest, after what we've seen, who can blame Umbridge? There was a pause in which Harry glared at her, and her eyes slowly filled with tears. "You didn't mean that," said Harry quietly. "No, well, all right, I didn't," she said, wiping her eyes angrily. "But why does he have to make life so difficult for himself? For us?" Why is Hermione so furious here?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just because she wants Hagrid to be doing the right thing or laying low, And this is just showing that for the last few months, Hagrid has been in his own little silent rebellion doing something he shouldn't.
Mm.
Or maybe she's just a little bitter that he's doing something that would jeopardize him being able to hang out with them or be near them. Could it be that?
Or it's dangerous to have a giant that close
Yeah.
to the school.
Is she mad
Yeah.
that she has him? That he has the brother tied up?
Oh, like
Yeah,
same thing
like
with
a
her
sense
little
of
house
justice
elf thing. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Like it really bothered her because she was freaking out. I feel like it, partly for their safety, but
Yeah.
also like, what are you doing?
She definitely had a freak out moment.
Mm-hmm.
But one of
Yeah.
the beautiful things that happens right after this is that Weasley is our king.
Yeah.
He didn't. He always blocked every ring or whatever the song was.
He didn't let the quaffle in.
Yeah, and that is why we all sing. Gryffindors all sing. Weasley is our king. What do you think of that surprise little ending? You saw it coming, but did you guys see it coming?
No, sure didn't.
Nope. I wasn't focused on that either. I don't think though.
That is the only thing I was focused on. I remember reading this for the first time and being like, I don't care anything that happens with Hagrid right now. Please get me back to this match before it ends. I want to watch this match. And I
Yep.
didn't. I couldn't watch
Aw.
it. JK,
Aw.
when you're
Just
listening,
about to say that.
give me another
Rewrite the
through
chapter.
Ron's perspective, please.
No.
It does bring up that question, like, who would you want the books read through or like rewritten through the perspective of? I feel like Ron would be a fun one.
That would be a good
A
one.
bit of an airhead, but he'd be fun.
Mm.
Anyway, anything else in these chapters where we hit the final stuff?
No, I don't think so.
Wow. All right, guys. Favorite moment in these 3 chapters?
Oh.
Who wins the House Cup?
McGonagall, Umbridge. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just
Hot Tamale Award. Go ahead, Jen.
McGonagall, Umbridge is my favorite, where McGonagall is standing up for Harry,
Mm-hmm.
being an Auror, or like helping tutor him. Favorite character, let's skip that one. Hot Tamale. I love Ginny. I think she's just, I know she was like playing mom again, or not again, but she
Wait, what'd she do in these chapters?
Ginny was asking why he was upset. Harry was upset.
Yeah.
And is it because of Cho? You could just talk to her.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like
yeah.
she's picking up
Yeah.
on like little things.
I love Ginny.
Yeah, we love Ginny.
I just don't think she did enough in these chapters.
Hot
I want more Ginny
tamale, I
chapters.
She's
said.
a hot tamale, not,
Yeah,
the,
you're
not
right.
the House Cup.
She still had an impression on you. Still spicy.
I just like that she's like more mature than I thought she was.
Mhm.
And like
Yeah,
I
it's
feel like
true.
she's like understanding Harry more and like helping him. So I guess that's why. Favorite character, right? House. What the heck? I'm blanking on this one.
This is a tough one. So you have Snape's worst memory, all that stuff that happened there. Then you have the Grop chapter, and then you have
Yeah, I don't like that chapter that
Career
much.
Advice.
McGonagall.
I mean, yeah, McGonagall, Fred, and George are great in these.
Oh
too.
yeah, yeah. I won't take everything more because I know it sucks when you go last.
What about you guys?
Do you want to go or should I go?
Go for it.
My hot tamale are Fred and George, and
Mm-hmm.
I went.
Mm-hmm.
He agrees with
I
that.
should have seen
I
his
do.
face too.
Although I'm gonna say Lily because Lily is a very hot tamale. in
So
this.
true.
Oh.
Me too.
Fred and George were mine.
Ginny was mine.
I'm going back and forth between my favorite moment of when Fred and George leave and McGonagall going back at Umbridge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't choose. And then I'll give the House Cup to Fred and George too.
Mm.
Yeah, actually, that's a good one.
I liked them.
Yeah. Danny.
I'll say Lily for hot tamale. Favorite moment: Fred and George leaving. House Cup winner McGonagall. I feel like she made a conscious decision at some point in
Yeah.
these chapters to start rebelling, and that helped change the mood with all the students.
Yeah.
Fred and George too, of course.
And
They
the
probably get more
professors.
credit than her, but
Yeah.
but I like seeing it out of McGonagall.
Yep.
Mm.
You picked my mind perfectly. That's exactly what I'm going. I
Mm.
think Lily is just a hot tamale all around.
Because her
Absolute
almond
babe.
green eyes.
What?
Because of the almond green eyes.
Almond
2
green
by 4
eyes,
by
yep.
3.
Just your kindness. I love that. Also, Fred and George's moment. It's one of my favorites in the entire series. I love that moment so much. When Peeve salutes, it's just
Oh,
such a lovely moment.
like he respects their
I know.
game.
Yeah, I
Mm.
know. And then McGonagall, I would probably say, wins the House Cup for these chapters.
So good.
She's great.
Yeah.
Give me a word and to say what the series word is. We asked this question like 3 podcasts ago.
Oh,
we haven't
the
revisited
theme is what
it.
you
Give me
want?
one word that sums up the Harry Potter series. That
Series? The whole series?
oh, what's that?
Or
Because we
this
talked about that
book?
one word. No, that one word. Not that we're not talking about a theme here. Remember, I asked, there's one
together.
word that someone
Oh,
says later that
that-
sums up the entire series. That if you say this word, Harry
Weasley
Potter
is our
fans
king.
Always.
I know that's
That's
not
more
what.
than
Harry
one
Potter
word,
fans
honey.
always like understand and know. They say Weasley is our king really fast. Weasley is our king.
One word.
Smush it all into one.
Grop.
All right. It's your word, Danny.
No, it's not a real guess.
Yeah, Danny's flipping through his book.
I'm like
randomly picking a book.
Well, I pointed at Cloak and Filch, but I don't think either of those are right. It must have come up in these chapters, Jen. That's why he's asking.
I know, but like, what the
came up
heck?
in these chapters? A theme of the whole thing. One word. Could be a person's name.
Snivellus.
Yeah, I feel like Snivellus is a good one. If this is his worst memory, maybe this is like the catalyst, and that word is the catalyst for a lot of chaos.
It just didn't seem right, though. I don't know.
My stomach's going crazy.
Oh, mine too. The whole
Yeah?
time.
We're a little gassy over here this morning.
The gassy couch.
Excellent.
Oh,
Is
Laura
Muggleborn
Mora.
hyphenated?
We'll say that could be one word.
All right, Muggleborn.
That's decent.
But nothing really stands out as like actually being the word yet.
Yeah.
And maybe we won't know until one moment in 2 more books.
I want to guess it,
We can keep guessing.
but like,
Like, we'll add this into the roster of final points. So just keep coming up with a word every new 3 chapters that we do. Maybe one day you'll hit it.
charm.
Charm, I like it. Maybe we'll see. Maybe
Charm.
we'll get to the end of the book and it's gonna be all about charms or Muggleborn. Anyway, thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
Thanks, guys.
We did it a little
We
bit
did it.
longer than
I
you
know.
said.
Because we started a little bit later. All
We
right.
started a lot later, so
Oops, sorry, guys.
We were perfectly on time. If we started at the right time, it would have been 12, and we would have been
Oh,
perfect.
true.
Wow, nice.
So get off my back.
Yes, we did it.
servitude.
Servitude?
Oh, Danny got excited about that.
Slightly sarcastic excitement. It could be. But did we see that word in these chapters?
Yep, it's right here.
Nice. Who was being
698, but
servitudinous?
Hagrid.
Hagrid?
Who's
Says
being
it.
servitudinous?
He's doing Dumbledore a favor is all. It
Wait,
was
who's
about
doing-
Firenze.
Ah,
That's a good one.
it's a good theme word for sure.
Dumbledore.
You guys are just gonna keep guessing, but
Yeah.
I do not think that you're gonna get it.
That's why I want to get it.
I
though,
know.
'cause
I know.
you keep saying
Just
that.
feeling her.
I am like fanning the flame that you guys won't get it, but I don't think you're gonna get it. I'm sorry.
So it's got to be really obscure.
Or he's only saying that to throw us off. And it's obvious.
So annoying. They don't say anything about like their gang. Like there's no trio. There's no like nickname for the group yet.
Like the Marauders.
Yeah.
We'll
That's
see.
what I'm wondering.
It's fun.
I know. It's so fun when
Because
you
you
know it.
both know it. It's so funny.
What?
That you both know it. We don't.
No, it's fun.
Hey, thanks everyone on chat for watching. We had awesome numbers today. Fun little bits of chat popping up. So you guys are always the best. Thank you as always. We love you guys. We have
Yay,
like
chat. Yay, chat.
yeah, take them out. Anyway, have a great day, everyone, and we will see you next stream. We're not sure when we're gonna do the next one, but
The
we'll let you
next stream.
Oh, also, I need to
Harry's
just
next
mention
dream.
this to you guys so you're mentally prepared. So the next
What?
3 chapters. And let me look this up real quick. So this is what we're gonna do, just so people on the stream know this too. We are gonna have our first live read, not for the next 3 chapters.
Whoa, cool.
We have to do a live read for one of these chapters in here because it is an
Major
all-time
one.
chapter. And it kind of pops up right in the middle. So we're gonna do the next 3, which is gonna be OWLs, Out of the Fire, and Fight and Flight. Then I'm not gonna tell you what this chapter title is called in case Danny doesn't want to look at it. But we're gonna do chapter 35. We are gonna do a live read of that chapter.
Wait, so the next 3 we're doing normal.
Normal.
Normal. Yep.
31, 32, 33.
Yeah. So chapter 35 is one of the all-time chapters, and chapter 36 is an all-time chapter too. It's a great chapter, but chapter 36 is really short. So we're gonna read the next 3 chapters as a podcast group. We'll do a podcast on that, and then we'll do another one, probably like on a Saturday, where we'll read chapter 34
Like just one chapter.
on your own,
Yeah.
and then we'll come back. We'll do a live reading of chapter 35 and 36. And then we'll have a podcast discussion on it. So it might be a
Nice.
long Saturday.
So we'll be here
So
all day.
I'm just telling you guys to mentally prepare yourselves
for a
that.
long day.
We have to do a live reading of this chapter because this is
Yeah,
an
it'll be
all-time
fun.
The only thing
chapter.
is the
great.
next few weekends are a little.
We can listen at a normal
Crazy.
speed though.
Yeah, we'll do normal speed. Yeah.
Like,
There's
yeah.
always time.
Yeah. If the next few weekends are tight too, we'll figure something out. But we can even do it like a weeknight.
Oh my
even
gosh,
if we
I'm looking at all the
So
chapter
we-
titles.
we
Don't
can
do it.
even
It's not
do
giving anything away.
where we don't do the podcast right immediately after. You guys can come over for like an hour and we can do a live reading of it, and we can take a breather and come back 2-3 days later and then do the podcast. So you have
Right,
time
right.
to process through it. But we have to do a live reading of these 2 chapters. It's like an absolute necessity.
An absolute
It
necessity.
is. We have to. And I'm going to zoom in on your face with the cameras, guys. So we're going to get all your reactions.
Oh,
It's
boy.
going to be great. I can't
Will
wait.
you have a reaction?
Yes.
I feel like you watch movies and everything when we've been watching, and it's like so stoic.
Perfectly still. Non-reactive. Yeah, but it's different when it's Harry.
Mm. Anyway, everyone on chat, thanks for joining. Have a great day. We will see you guys later.
Perfectly still. Non-reactive. Yeah, but it's different. Harry.
Anyway, everyone on chat, thanks for joining. Have a great day. We will see you guys later. Beautiful.